All right, so we're looking at, because we're going to do an interview with Boris, the 1 minute interview here.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to the Speed Tour from Lime Rock. It's an absolutely resplendent day here at Lime Rock in Connecticut. We don't often get this, it's often raining, but this is absolutely Lime Rock at its very best. And of course, it is the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, round 4 of the Big Machine Spike Coolers TA2 series. Jonathan Green here, along with once again Adam Andretti. And Adam, it's great to have you here this weekend because you were in this race last year. The conditions, though, very different, and so too the field.
Actually, massively different conditions. Like you just said, Jonathan Green, we've been so blessed with this beautiful weather this weekend on our Memorial Day Classic here with the Trans Am Series. But absolutely the field, you know, these young guns, they're a year of development inside this TA2 class, presented by Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, but it's deep. I mean, we're talking 12, 15 deep of this deal, and the championship really turned here last year for our last year's champion of Thomas Merrill, so it'll be exciting to see what happens and what he does from pole position this year.
I don't know if you'd agree with me, but the way I see this championship right now, we've got 300 plus points to be up for grabs in the next week, because we've got 2 races at Detroit next week after the race here. So if I look at the current big guys like Thomas Merrill, our champion, Rafa Matos, obviously another one looking for another title, against all these young guns, these 2 weekends could be pivotal for the whole year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this can make or break. And I mean, these are like short tracks to us, right? In the TA2s, in the Trans Am Series. You're talking Lime Rock Park. This is just over a mile in length. It's a 51 second lap as we saw yesterday at qualifying. You're going to go to the jungle that is the street race in Detroit. And then that's a back-to-back event. And then right after that, just a couple weeks after that, you have Mid-Ohio. So this is definitely a crucial part of this championship.
Key to Lime Rock, obviously staying out of trouble and staying out of traffic. That's easier said than done. I guess the game for our champion Merrill, who won this race last year, is to do just that. Get out and stay away from everyone.
Yeah, last year was totally different because there was strategy calls, going to dry tires, and then staying out there on the wets like Thomas Merrill did and just coming back with nothing left on him like he did. This is going to be pretty cut and dry as far as strategy-wise, so now it's about pulling all those tricks that he has out of his pocket because he's the crafty veteran amongst all these youngsters up front. So he's got enough, I think, tricks in his pocket to keep them at bay.
I think the expression patiently fast springs to mind.
Absolutely. And Thomas Merrill, he proves that all the time, that he's patiently fast.
Well, listen, I'm going to head to the booth and I'm going to leave this man, Adam Andretti, to go and talk to some of the drivers about what's about to happen here at Lime Rock. We'll take a short break here from a beautiful day at Lime Rock Park. Join us after this.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
You've got a business to run, big and heavy products to ship, and customers who need them now. When you've got the right driver and the right equipment, you can bet on a spectacular result. Bennett understands complex logistics and puts the best team, the most time, and the latest technology into every customer relationship. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Let us handle the rest.
Together, we can move anything.
Speed, endurance, desire. For 160 years, Motul has helped engines and drivers go faster, further, and stronger. Tested in the heat of battle, driven with passion, with one aim, to give you superior powertrain protection and performance. Motul.
Yeah. All right, we are back here at the Memorial Day Classic at Lime Rock Park. We're here with 2022 TA2 class champion and the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers. You sat it on pole yesterday, the Motul Pole Award. Got to be special, but more importantly, how does it feel to be kind of leading on these youngsters and showing them the way here today?
Yeah, it's funny when all these young kids come to Trans Am, we feel like, we're going to have to keep them honest, but lately they've been keeping us honest. They're so fast and it's so competitive. It's such a great field to race in. And I'm so proud to put this Bennett Mustang up front in front of all these other Cope cars. It's a great day for us. Cope locking out the top 3 qualifying positions was great for our chassis. We've been putting a lot of work into that this year. And obviously if there's a place to be on the pole, it's here, right? It's so hard to overtake. So hopefully this is setting the tone for a great day for us.
Absolutely, and you look strong all weekend long onto that front. And, the biggest thing is these kids, they had that raw speed. The young guns had that raw talent. And the racecraft, they're learning from veterans like yourself. How do you keep some of those tricks in your pocket so you have something left for them?
I wish I could say I am keeping stuff in my pocket, but I got to use everything that I got to race these kids and stay in front of them. That's what makes it so fun, And it's fun to share the track with these kids and race this hard, but to race clean. Credit to them. They're all coming in here and racing clean and keeping us honest, and so it should be a lot of fun. But we'll see it. Usually racing here is either clean or it's not, so we'll figure out which one it's going to be today. But either way, hopefully that HB Tuners logo stays nice and clean, and we'll be here in Victory Circle.
I think we'll see you here. So great job, good luck, and looking forward to seeing you out there, Thomas Merrill, 2022 champ right here. All right, moving on, right? So let's go down this grid. Let's take a look at Evan Slater here. He's our outside pole sitter, another young gun, definitely looking good as far as the season's been going here. Evan Slater, how's it going, my friend? You're up here on the front row. This is kind of like a home track to you. Talk to us about Lime Rock Park for yourself.
Yeah, it's amazing to be right up here. So this is kind of my home track. It's not too close. It's 3.5 hours away still, but it's the track I'm definitely most experienced with. So super happy to be up front. A lot of fast drivers behind me. So we're going to try and just keep it up here in the race and get a good result for Franklin Road Apparel and Showtime Motorsports. How's
the race pace going? You obviously showed your 1-lap pace. How's the race pace? Over 100 miles. How do you feel about that going up against veterans like Thomas Merrill starting alongside you?
Yeah, so we obviously had a lot of qualifying pace to bring it up here, and I think the race pace will be there too. So we made some setup changes to try and get it more consistent over the long run. So yeah, I'm hoping it'll be good, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, good luck to you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, have at it, Evan. All right, moving down the grid here. All these fans, what a wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate this Memorial Day Classic, looking at the wonderful fans that we have here for our track walk. We got the Australian here, Nathan Hearn, starting here. How you give it a thumbs up here, Nathan? You ready for today? Yeah? Awesome. Loving that. Thomas Annunziata. This is a bunch of young guns up here. So see the kids enjoying the weekend here at the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers Trans Am weekend. We move back through the field here as we keep on coming back here through. Let's go see if we can take a look here at Mike Skeen. Mike Skeen making a return to the TA2 class. Mike, my friend.
How's it going?
Good. How does it feel? You're back here. You're subbing in for the big boss man, Doug Peterson. Rumor has it that he's out there doing something really important at Monaco. So how does it feel to be in this 87 three-dimensional services group? Well, it's Ford Mustang.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. I love racing in TA2 and being at Lime Rock. It's beautiful weather, obviously, this weekend, and just love the racing here. And, when you're in the boss's car, it's always the good stuff. So I think we have a good car under us, and hopefully we can move forward.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of showed not the typical Mike Skeen that we usually see here at Lime Rock. Two-time pole sitter here, struggled a little bit over 1-lap pace. How are we feeling over the long run?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we've been struggling with the setup here this weekend a little bit, and, just a couple practices, and I haven't been in this car before, so throwing a lot of stuff at it overnight. We'll see if we get it better for the race today.
Fantastic. Well, good luck to you. Thanks. Always looking forward to seeing Mike Skeen behind the wheel. They're one of the absolute geniuses behind the wheel in all of motorsports. Right here, Mike Skeen, past champion as well. IMSA extraordinaire. Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Great, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
All right, Kenny Johnson. Connor Zilich.
How's it going?
One of the young guns here. You're fresh off a win. First ever win, career win at Road Atlanta. How are we going to back that up here at Lime Rock?
Keeping cool, calm, and consistent. It's a long race, 68 laps. A lot of time to get it done. Obviously, Lime Rock's short. It's tough to pass on, so staying patient, waiting for other people's mistakes, and don't be the one to be the one making mistakes. So keep it cool, and that's how I won my first race, just kind of letting the race come to me. So I'm going to try and do that again, and hopefully we'll make it 2 in a row.
This doesn't sound like young gun talk, right? This is crafty veteran style talk to stay calm like that. I think that's brilliant because we've been mentioning, I mean, we're just like, you're going to have 300-plus points on the table over the next 8 days. So is Detroit, do you feel like the atmosphere among the drivers that Detroit is on the forefront, that you got to get out of here clean too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we can't show up next week with a beat-up race car, so keeping it clean here and showing up to Detroit with a car that we're going to be able to race with and compete for a win with is important, and especially in the championship. We're 3rd in the points right now, but both of our championship contenders are behind us, so just going to have to keep it underneath me, and we got a long race. It's getting hot out here, so temps are going to be hot, so keeping the car underneath me and staying consistent is going to be the key to today's race.
How about these fans? Isn't this cool?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, there's a lot. This is probably the most busy fan walk we've had so far in the last 2 years I've been racing, so good to see the series growing.
Love it. Love you fans. Thank you so much. Okay. Lissa Newman, how are you? The wonderful Lissa Newman. This is like family, right? The Andretti's and the Newmans. We go back so long.
It's amazing to be back here. It brings back so many memories. This is my dad's happy place.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about it, right? Just a month before, we lost your great father, he was here. He was turning laps in a GT1 Corvette. Talk to us about your father's passion for this great sport.
I think he was a race car driver first and an actor second. And I think the thing that he loved most about racing was that you know exactly how good you are in a race car. You have a watch to measure it, and as an actor, it's always a little fuzzy. So
a little subjective.
Yeah. So this was, and it didn't matter. He always said that it didn't matter what color his eyes were. If he wasn't fast, he wasn't fast.
I love that, because obviously the legend with the beautiful blue eyes. But absolutely, I mean, I know that through our family, my Uncle Mario always said that Paul Newman was first a race car driver. He shared that passion. And so it's just such an honor to have you here. Some pretty interesting items that you brought out as well that's going to be on auction this summer. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's so funny. There are some Rolex watches. There are some Indy, championship rings, and some cars. My dad loved stealth cars. He loved cars that didn't look fast but were fast, which I think is really smart. You can hear him coming. What did he have? The Buick racing engine and a Volvo station wagon. Yep. You can hear him from 20 minutes away. He'd be like, "Dad's going to be home soon," and that's what he.
A nice grid walk here. It's again a beautiful day here at. Oh, I'm so
can
sorry.
Hear Adam
Excuse
again.
me.
Adam, back to you.
At Lime Rock Park. Let's go catch a hold of Austin Green. All right, let's go take a look here at Austin Green. Austin Green. Yeah, you hear me. You hear me. He hears me. So another second-generation driver here, Austin Green, the son of David Green, the NASCAR legend. Austin, talk to us about your weekend here at Lime Rock. Is this your first time here at Lime Rock Park, first of all?
Yeah, it's first time here, and it's a fun little track. It's tight, it's technical, so it'll make for a hell of a show. And just huge thanks to everybody at Peterson Racing and Three Dimensional Services Group, and more importantly, all the men and women that fought and died for us and are letting us do this.
Absolutely great. I love that you mentioned that. We are here Memorial Day weekend. This is the Memorial Day Classic. The fans, they have come out. What do you think about this fan turnout to watch you do your stuff out there in a TA2 car?
No, this is awesome. This is kind of all new for me with the whole fan walk and everything. So this is great. It's a great turnout, and hopefully we can put on a show for y'all.
Awesome. I love it. Good luck to you, Austin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Let's keep moving through the field here. We got another local hero signing autographs on the front of the car here. We got Adrian Vlasowski checking things out. Adrian, how are we doing today? Good. He's signing autographs. How'd you feel? How'd your car feel today?
I think we're ready for the race today. We made a few adjustments yesterday. Got stuck in a lot of traffic in the first official practice. Then we had a local yellow, right? And then how much do you respect the yellow when you're trying to do the fastest lap of your life, right? So I think we're ready. I think we have more speed that we showed, and we're just here to race now.
That's kind of a home track for you, right? I mean, home's New York City, not too far away. How much time do you spend here at Lime Rock?
You know, we come here a lot. Not as often as Watkins Glen, but we come here a lot. We consider this our home track. We have a lot of friends, family come here. We have food. Everybody stop by our trailer. We have a big barbecue after the race. But yeah, we're so happy to have everybody here and all our customers, friends, family that came to watch our race today.
I love it. We're going to party over a fast performance afterwards. Race fans all on the leer here. So, yeah, going to have a good one. So thank you so much. Adrian, always rooting for you. Have a great day. Yeah, as we move through the field. Keep moving through the field. This is, like I said, it's a lot of traffic here with people. Got the fans here, all the young and of all ages. We absolutely love that about our series and what we're able to get through here as we're moving back along. What I want to really try and find is Jay Buford. We're going to try and find Jay Buford here in the 48, I believe, set up right here in the middle. So if follow me right here, Joe. See if we can't find Jade.
We got to go that way.
Hang on, we're going TV here. Jade, right? Jade's chasing me. Jade Buford. How are you, Jade? So this is kind of like, I understand, it has to be bittersweet, right? The boss is at home recovering from Road Atlanta, but, you know, you're here behind the wheel flying these big machine Vodka colors, the spike cooler colors. Just talk to us a little bit about what your emotions are, what's going through you.
It's obviously disappointing. It's not the situation any of us expected to be in this year. We all wish Scott was here. We all wish he's doing well at home, and we're glad to know that he's getting better with every day. So we're just going to go out and try to do our best to make him proud and put our best foot forward and try to keep it entertaining for him while he gets better at home.
I love that. No, all our thoughts are with Scott, and he's such an important person to all of us in the paddock. And, you know, we're excited for you. We're excited that we're still going to fly those colors. And we're expecting big things from you, Jade. You're a heck of a talent, and we're excited to see what you produce out here for us. So good luck, and we got to be watching with interest. Thank you.
Adam. Try to keep it entertaining.
Love that. Trying to keep it entertaining. I don't think he's going to have to try very hard for our fans at home to keep it entertaining, considering where he needs to move through the field here. He was showing great pace earlier yesterday in practice, and again, I think ran into some of those issues in qualifying as we're speaking of with traffic and so on and so forth. Got Keith Prochuk here. Let's talk to Keith real quick. Keith, one of my favorite people in the entire paddock. Let's talk about your HP Tuners Ford Mustang here, Cope Race Cars. What are you thinking today?
You know, we're here in 16th, but, you know, it's such a tight group. It's 7/10 from here to the pole, and just a couple tenths for your few rows back. But our car is phenomenal. It was a great qualifying yesterday. It's going to be, man, this weather is phenomenal. The turnout for the fans. I always say it every year, Lime Rock, the fans are the absolute best. So we're super excited. Feels great. Looking forward to it.
Love that, Keith, Ellen. And we've been saying it how long? These fans, absolutely amazing. Every year we come to Lime Rock, rain or shine, these fans, they show up to support, don't they?
And we see you. We see you as we come around the corners. We absolutely see you, and it feels so good. So thank you very much.
Love that. Absolutely. Have a good race.
So we've just lost Adam for a moment, but we'll be back to him as soon as we can. But as you can see, the pre-race festivities well underway now, and really enjoying being part of this. I know Adam's really enjoying being out there and being part of it. There's no question that Adam wants to be in a race car, but these are his family, effectively. Yes, he's part of the Andretti legacy, but he's also a huge part of what has been the history of Trans Am, and he lives and breathes it every day. His wife, in fact, also his partner, part of Trans Am as well. So it's definitely a family affair for Adam, and great to see him chatting with his mates and guys that he fights with every weekend. Special weekend for Lime Rock. As we said, we're celebrating Paul Newman and his time here, and somewhat succinct and somewhat poetic that Paul Newman ran his last ever laps here at Lime Rock at the age of 83, I may add, but just a month before he passed. So it meant so much to him, and I thought those words by his daughter Lizzie were very pro-apt in that he was first and foremost a race driver and second an actor, which is high praise for the sport of motorsport, no question.
All right, real quick here. Back again, like we said, it's not exactly where you want to be. You want to put in that performance because Boss Man's a long way away doing very important business in Monaco, I understand. So, so talk to us about your day.
Yeah, we tried something different with the setup. It didn't work for qualifying, so we went back to something that we know that worked in the past, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward and keep the points lead. We miss our big boss, Doug Peterson, but I'm sure he's having a lot of fun in Monaco right now.
Yeah, so always rooting for you, Rafa. This is one of my favorite people, one of my best friends, former teammate, and all-time brother. Great job. Good luck today. We got a few minutes here as we move forward. We can see that we've already cleared this paddock, which is good. Thank you to the race fans for coming out here and sharing in this this moment with us. This is you're why we do it. This is if we don't show up here and the fans aren't there. What are we doing it for? So this is so important, and same for you at home that are tuning in. Thank you for your time, and thank you for enjoying the show that we're going to be able to put on here as we keep moving through here to the front. You can see the drivers are starting to get strapped in and get ready for the battle that is getting ready to take place here at Lime Rock Park. And I say battle because it always is an intense battle. Getting their last energy drinks in as we see Thomas Merrill getting very, very focused and ready for the car. So we move up here too, and we come to join with our Grand Marshal here. Boris said, I just got done talking to your son, and he's poised, ready. He's got that Boris said laser vision in there. What have you talked to him about heading into Lime Rock Park here? I believe this is his first time visiting this racetrack, and if it's not, it certainly is in these cars.
Yeah, I mean, we just talk a lot about race strategy and racing to the end. I mean, there's 35 of these guys. It's going to be pretty wild out there, so hopefully he can keep calm and, not run into anybody and be there at the end, have a really good car. But everyone at Three Dimensional has done such a good job training them and giving them a good car. And, I've been coming to Lime Rock for I don't know how many years, 35, 37 years. And to see what Dickie and the whole staff has done with this place, it's a very unique track, but really fun to drive, really cool, and the facility looks great. And on a day where I just want to say, to all our veterans out there, our men and women of our armed forces, this weekend's about them, and, I thank them for their sacrifice to make this the best country in the world, and hopefully we'll put on a good show for them.
Absolutely, amen to that, and very well said. This is the weekend for Gold Star families, those that didn't get to welcome home, those that sacrificed and gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy this beautiful sport among so many other things that we enjoy in this beautiful country. Let's talk about Boris Said a little bit, senior. You just hit on it. You've been coming here for 35, 37 years. You're an amazing ambassador for motorsports, not only motorsports in general, but especially the Trans Am Series. Talk to us about what it means to be asked to be the Grand Marshal of this great event for this great series this weekend.
I mean, it's an honor. I mean, one thing, it means I'm getting older, which is kind of sad, but everybody gets older. But, I've been a part of Trans Am since '93, and out of all the cars I've raced all over the world, it's by far my favorite, with 900 horsepower in these TA1 cars, and, none of the driver aids, the ABS, the traction control, they're just a blast to drive, real old school racing. So to see these guys out here, they're going to put on a real show where they'll be beating and banging and having fun, and it's just exciting to watch. And as a dad, I never realized what I put my wife and kid through and my mother through over the years. It's nerve-wracking for me to watch, but not so much that, I feel it's a very safe sport, but just all the stuff that can go wrong, the flat tires, the spin-outs and stuff. But I can't wait to wave the green flag and get up on the hill and watch like a fan.
Spoken like a dad, always concerned for the son. Thank you, Boris. We look forward. We'll be right back to you. Thank you. And we're looking at the National Guard right here, our colors, presenting our colors on this most important of weekends. And for our invocation, we have the Reverend Heidi Truex. Reverend Heidi Truex, please take it away and show us and give us our grace for why we're here today.
Let us pray. Creator God, on this Memorial Day Saturday, we come before you with hearts filled with reverence. We honor the courageous people who have sacrificed for our country, protecting the freedoms we hold dear. Lord, bless all the drivers today and grant them safety on the track. Protect them from harm and inspire them to showcase their skills with honor and integrity. We are grateful for the dedicated pit crews, racetrack employees and volunteers, and those who work tirelessly, both in front of and behind the scenes. Lord God, bless the passionate fans gathered here today. May they experience the thrill of the race in a spirit of unity and enjoyment. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Beautiful, beautiful words spoken there. We have Ty coming up here, going to sing us our national anthem. Take it away, Ty.
Present horns.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies' red glare, the bones bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ty, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. Awesome job. And this shows how multi-talented this paddock is. This is, you're looking at, that's one of our techs for Franklin Road Apparel, for Showtime Motorsports. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be back.
If your tooling isn't quite ready, and you need parts, and you need more parts than just a few, or if your run is just not that big, look to the experts in low-volume production, 3-Dimensional Services. Whether it's 10, 100, or 1,000 parts, we can meet your needs. And if it's 10,000, we can do that too. 3-Dimensional Services delivers high-quality parts for short runs, 70% faster than industry standards. 3-Dimensional Services. Prototype, production, proven.
I'm Richard Petty, and you might say I've had a fairly successful driving career.
And you know the secret of my success? Having a good support team around me when I need it. Whether you're a route driver, over-the-road trucker, or you're interested in driving special purpose vehicles, Clean Harbors is the kind of place where you can build a long driving career. Do yourself a favor. Give Clean Harbors a call.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here. And as you can see, let's head down. I can hear Adam about to talk again with Boris just before the start of this. But you can see the crowd gathering at what is the left-hand bend. And that is a great way to see the Lime Rock race. And that gets packed as the weekend goes on. And there's so many more festivities going on. But I can still hear Adam. Adam, are you down there? Let's head down to Adam Andretti and see how he's gonna who he's got down there at the moment. Down to you, Adam.
I mean, unreal. The fans. Weather's cooperating like we need it.
All right, we are back here. We're back here at Lime Rock Park with none other than the president of Lime Rock Park, Dickie Regal. I want to just get some words from you. You're hearing so many wonderful compliments from not only the competitors, but also the fans here. Talk to us a little bit about the work you guys have put into Lime Rock Park and what you guys got going on in the future.
Well, I'm just so thrilled to welcome everybody back to Lime Rock Park. We have so many returning fans, spectators, participants. There has been a lot of work going on here, and it continues. I represent about 23 different owners that are a part of this Lime Rock Park experience, and we're investing in facilities. We hope that the experience, the food, the welcome, the smiles on everybody's faces indicate all the hard work that this entire team, the staff of Lime Rock Park, are putting into it. So proud to be a part of that group and welcoming Trans Am SVRA here back to Lime Rock Park.
That's amazing. Love it. I mean, there's not a spare piece of real estate, here for camping. So thank you for all the hard work. It's showing off, and we really appreciate it as competitors and obviously the fans. So keep it up, Dickie, and we're looking forward to coming back many years to come.
Great. Thanks very much, Adam. And thank you very much to all our fans. Come back again. We'll see you at all our events this summer. Thank you.
All right, let's go see Jonathan Green and what he has to talk about.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, obviously you've been talking about many of the top proponents for this race, but let's take a closer look at what we are about to see. Once again, a bumper field as we have in the tire of 2023, but here is the grid. It's our champion Thomas Merrill who leads the way and was the winner here last year in different conditions. Evan Slater vying for the championship, rides up alongside him. Then it's Annunziata, pole position already this year, but on the second row, Nathan Hearn, who's been the sensation from Australia, he lines up on row 2. Zilich, Mike Skeen coming back to race in this one. Brent Cruz, second in the championship, and alongside him, another man vying for the championship, Austin Green. Rafa Matos, former champion, lines up on row 5. Mario Werner, not able to take part in the race. He had a crash earlier on in the weekend. Little further down, Lostowski, Said Jr., we've talked about him. McAvern, always a favourite here. Jade Buford, Moffitt, Pruchuk, Mock, Noeka, Hingorani, a young 16-year-old coming in from Arca, and then Caleb Bacon. In fact, Bacon knocked back a couple of places for an infringement. Mayer, Bose, Weisberg, Lustig, Gallagher, Birdwell, and Doug Winston. Michelle Abati down in on row 15. Ty Young also not where he needs to be. Katenshi, a local man. Tom Sheehan, his 130th start. What an accolade, but gets a penalty as well. Likewise, Misha Goikerberg knocked back a little bit. They all didn't make the driver's briefing, so they all got a penalty, and that includes the local man, Michael Phillips. So let's hear from our start command as we get ready to race here at Lime Rock.
All right, we're back here for the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers TA2 class. The most famous words in all of motorsports. Boris said, our Grand Marshal.
Drivers and my son Boris, start your engines!
Boris said, doing what only Boris said can do. What a family, what a tradition. And what a legacy. Boris said Jr., he said drivers and my son. Well, his son is very much a driver. In fact, I know that Boris said Jr. did get some Miata work done here, but this is a very different prospect from racing a Miata with this massive field of ex-champions and young guns on their way to fame and fortune. Brent Cruz I'm thinking of, and Enciata I'm thinking of, and many others. Ben Mayer. There's so many youngsters out there, but the sensation that we've hardly really had a chance to talk about has been Nathan Hearn. He came out of Australia as the champion of Trans Am in Australia, and were it not for a few mechanical issues and a few biffs off the road, he could well be higher up the field. So watch out for Nathan Hearn. Every racetrack he's been to, it doesn't seem to matter. He is on it immediately and looking to go forward this weekend. Nathan Hearn in the number 29, the Australian, sponsored by Cube 3. Now, we'll be on board with Nathan Hearn in that Cube 3 Ford Mustang, as many others. He's 15th in the championship on 126, but as you see, their best finish, a second place and qualified third. That's why I mention him so early on, because he has been perhaps the surprise of the year. But with so many youngsters going so well, like this man, Austin Green, you saw that Adam spoke to him on the grid. He's in our Young Guns fight as well. Yes, he may be the son of another NASCAR name in green, but he is making his own name. 10th in the championship, best finish of second, so another man not to count out for this Lime Rock race. We'll be on board with the three-dimensional services group. Austin Green. And we'll have every angle covered from the drone. The drone will be particularly interesting this weekend, especially for Thomas Merrill. I bet he wished we had the view that we have, because he is going to be looking out for traffic throughout this weekend. And now you start to see, as we go on board with Austin, just how narrow it is here. This is one of the tightest, shortest tracks in Trans Am. No question about it. There is very, very little margin as we go down what used to be called the no-name straight, but is now, of course, named after Paul Newman. So we head down the Newman Straight and back up the hill. We don't do the chicane here. There is a chicane just there, as you say. There's the Newman Straight. And look at these beautiful hills, these Connecticut hills. Previous winners include, of course, Thomas Merrill, 2 times, in fact. Mike Skeen is a winner, too. Merrill winning in 2019. Tony Arve won in 15, and Cameron Lawrence in 14. So plenty of guys to talk about in TA2 that have won this race. We'll be also on board with Evan Slater. I've got a real good feeling about Evan Slater. Had a great result last time out, and he's looked better and better with every race weekend. And I talked to him last time out at Atlanta, and he has his tail up. He knows there's a lot of youngsters out there, but he is making everything go well for him. 5th in the championship at the moment on 2:48, and best of 2 5th places so far, and has qualified second twice. So Evan Slater is due a win, and having seen Brent Cruz win and Connor Zilic win, I'm sure that Evan Slater's going, it's my turn. Here's the local man, Adrian Lostowski from New York. There's a lovely story we're going to tell you about as the race unfurls, about Adrian Lostowski's heroics. He is, of course, sponsored by Hawk, as always. But there's your championship. Rafa Matos got it all to do from 9th. Brent Cruz second at the moment, 287s. Zilic, last time out winner, 269. There's Merrill, the man in pole. Massive weekend for Thomas Merrill. If he can get up the board, and he's only, 8 points off Zilic, he's in a good position. But look where Slater is, too. He needs the points. Darren Mock's another one to look out for. He's in 6th, equal, funnily enough, with Adrian Lostowski. Tad Moffitt, obviously the grandson of Richard Petty. We've seen him on our commercials throughout the weekend, but now his grandson is doing his bit. And here's that Young Guns I mentioned. Brent Cruz leading that at the moment, but look how tight it is. Connor Zilic in 2nd, Evan Slater in 3rd, Darren Mock, who I mentioned, Moffitt as well, and then Austin Green in 6th position, Ben Meyer and Dylan Archer. So there's 2 extremely big battles. I'm going to hand it over here to Adam to say, Adam, what do you do in this position? Let's put you in Merrill's position. How do you get this race done?
You got to get this jump on this start right now to get this lead into turn 1, and then you got to manage that lead. And I believe that's what Thomas was talking about here in my interview with him on the front row. And he got a great jump on Evan Slater. Now Evans needs to protect that from Thomas and Enciata as they go through the Mission Foods Big Bend turns 1 and 2.
Brilliant start from Thomas Merrill. You're absolutely right. He played that perfectly. As we go further back with Lostowski, you can see the traffic through left-hander, just how tough it is. I mean, there's just nowhere to go, is there? Thomas Merrill got the best view. The lead dog always gets that.
No, not at all. And it looked like there, the Rafa Matos already making some moves to cut through the field. They're getting around his teammate of the 89 and right behind his other teammate of Mike Skeen as they go down the Paul Newman straight now. Coming up the uphill there, and you got West Bend going through that. Thomas Merrill still maintaining a good lead and breaking out to a nice little gap there, and that's exactly what he wants to do is get this gap, just manage that as Zilich dives down underneath Nathan Hearn, the Australian, on the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill, as we got a lot of skirmishes coming up there.
Yeah, a lot of dust flying up, as always, at that last corner, the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill corner. Into turn one again, Merrill building on that lead. Slater right behind him, and Annunziata getting into third position. Nathan Hearn, Zilich, Cruz, Matos up to 7th, Skeen 8th, Austin Green 9th, and Lostowski rounding out the top 10. But Merrill taking control early on in this race.
Yeah, there's a good accordion effect going on there, too, from 4th place on back. You're seeing a lot of battles. The top 3 have kind of spread themselves out a little bit, and we're seeing really the battle here between Brent Cruz and Connor Zilich, a couple of young guns right there.
Adam, where do you overtake at Lime Rock? It doesn't look like there's anywhere obvious.
You know, the Mission Foods, Big Bend, turn 1 and 2 is your best bet is to get that, and that usually comes from a run right here from the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill. Is you get someone that drives off. See, like that dust right there, they drive off, make a mistake, have to breathe the throttle a little bit, and then that could give you a run down here. But absolutely, Lime Rock Park has been historically one of our toughest places to overtake. Almost every driver I interviewed down there, you heard them say the same thing. And that's why Thomas was just absolutely so stoked to be there on the pole, because he knows that from pole position, you can really manage a race here at Lime Rock Park.
We're on board with Rafa Matos. He's got work to do, the championship leader, in 7th at the moment. He has a good start. He's got Brent Cruz, his nemesis, though, in front of him. And it's going to be interesting to see how Rafa plays it. I use the expression patiently fast. Rafa knows all about that. And that's what makes Rafa so good, is that he will make sure. His plan is always to be there for the last 10 minutes. He always describes Trans Am as that. It's 100 miles, but you ain't anywhere near 100 miles unless you're there for the last 10.
That's right. I mean, this is 100 miles on one fuel load, 100 miles on one set of tires. It is an absolute test of your, not only your own skills, but your own skill and patience.
Whoa.
You know, as Connor's really eager to get by Nathan. He got by him on the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill a couple laps ago, but then drove off track. And like I said, that opened the door for the over-under for the Australian of Nathan Hearn to dive underneath there. Nathan having a hard time getting back to the apex for the left-hander as they go onto the Paul Newman straight right here. This is another potential passing zone right here in the right-hander before the uphill, if you could get that kind of a run. And then the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, West Bend, you really need someone to mess up the uphill. And then that's another area that you can, get there. And what I mean by messing up the uphill is you have to breathe the throttle a little bit there, because if you stay flat out, you're just going to spin the tires. So it's kind of a craft that you learn over the weekend of doing laps here at Lime Rock Park.
Let me ask you this. We're watching Zilich. It's very exciting to watch. But I'm thinking about tyres. How much is that going to take out of his tyres if he keeps pushing this early on? Because you need tyres at the end of the race.
Yeah, and this place, this is a place that's kind of tough on tire deck because you're so active. You're putting energy in the tire all the time. There's only that one little break on this front straightaway there that you actually have a little time for it to breathe. But we just don't have that here at Lime Rock Park. So it's a lot of energy through the tires. So, yeah, only time will tell, Jonathan. I mean, really, honestly, we haven't had these kind of conditions at Lime Rock in so long.
I know.
I can't even tell you what the tires are going to do, to be truthful.
Well, and the trouble is, for Zilich, he wants to hurry up because he's got two of the big hard charges in Brent Cruz and in Rafa Matos right behind him. But as you can see, he's right behind Nathan Hearn, who takes that bend wide. A lot of people taking it wide, throwing up the dust there. It's so risky. It's so easy to make a mistake. But Merrill, so far, doing a very good job. He's got a 1-second lead now over Evan Slater. And Annunziata, the young 16-year-old Thomas in the number 90, is in third position, also with Nitro Motorsports. Then Nathan Hearn comes in fourth place. Connor Zilich is fifth. Then Brent Cruz, also a Nitro man, in sixth. Rafa Matos, three-dimensional, in seventh. Austin Green, same team, in eighth. Lostowski, ninth. He's gone up from ninth. And Boris Said Jr. moving from 12th to 10th. Good start by him.
Yeah, Boris Said Jr. is really, he grabbed a hold of that start. And, I mean, he's made it it's almost like a three-dimensional lockout from 7th to 11th. or 7th to 10th, except for Adrian, busting up the party right here in his Hawk Performance Ford Mustang. So yeah, this is great racing, just like we'd expect for the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers TA2 class. I mean, you can see right there, Rafa running off course might have opened the door there for Mike Skeen, who was right behind him. And nope, everyone kind of stays in file behind Mike, or behind Rafa there. See Thad Moffitt in his 43 car, the safety clean 43 car, doing a wonderful job there. He's again, he's learning. Everywhere we go, it's a learning case for him, and he's got awesome partners in safety clean, and the support of the King, his grandfather, and the whole family. It's so important when you have that kind of support, and he definitely enjoys it. He's such a fine young man, always has a great smile on his face. We're on board here with a great young man that always is fun to be around and a treat. Him and his father, David. Seeing a lot of good works here through the field.
Yeah, Trans Am's really becoming the legacy championship. Yourself and so many other big names from the sport. You mentioned Richard Petty, you mentioned Austin Green and his father. We've got Darren Mock, his history in NASCAR, Butch Mark, and so on and so forth. Another overtake possibility on the inside, but are they going to make it the two side by side? Austin Green going for it.
And that started back there in the downhill. Rafa's got his hands full. We talked, he said they changed the setup completely because of their struggle and speed and qualifying, and I'm just not too sure that he's enjoying what he's got right now. It looks like he's got no rear grip. I could be wrong. I know I've hit it wrong with Rafa before. I talked to him after NOLA, and I was completely off on how his car was handling. But it looks to me like he really was chasing the rear end of that car going down the downhill. The Bennett Bridge Hall downhill. So let's see if we're seeing that again when we're on board here with Austin Green. But it really looks like he's got his hands full in that 88 car.
Yeah, we're on board with Austin. It's three-dimensional cars together on track, the all-yellow Perils. Are they all chasing down Brent Cruz in the red and white just ahead? Through comes the 87 then.
Yeah, Mike Skeen's feeling really good. You can tell he's feeling pretty racy. He's already opened up a really big gap on his teammate, Rafa Matos there. And those are a couple of champions, and I've made no secret on what I think about Mike Skeen and his driving abilities, and everybody in the paddock. I'm the guy that gets to go around and be the TV guy sometimes, and so I get to go ask him, and I tell you what, he's the one that's in almost every driver's head is Mike Skeen, because I tell you, everyone knows the ability that he has and what he can do with a race car, and it just has to be close for him, and he can take it the rest of the way. Now, all the contrary to Thomas Merrill, who's just setting sail at the top, at the front of this pack here. He is absolutely feeling super comfortable controlling this pace, and those are 3 Cope cars right at the top, at the front here. So hats off to Mike Cope and his group on just putting together a great package here for Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, that was a big surprise out of qualifying. Mike Cope's always there at the sharp end, but to have all 3 at the top, right at the sharp end, really impressive. On board now with Jade Buford as he attacks Keith Procho.
Yeah, Jade here, he's he's not rest a lot with Trans Am and the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers TA2 class. So this is really kind of a big baptism by fire here at Lime Rock Park, but he's got a great battle here with Keith Prochek. Keith's a great racer. He's fun to race against. He's very aware of his surroundings. You can race side by side with him. I've had wonderful battles with the man, and I know that they're going to probably have some good times out here battling with each other. I hope they keep it clean, but his teammate is just out there setting sail.
Oh, Hearn goes completely sideways. Wow, he was on the grass way too much, the 29. He's grabbed it all together, the Australian, but that was straight into the outback for him.
Another victim of the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill,
there
Jonathan
you go.
Green. It has caught out the best of the best in this business. I can tell you that, Nathan. You're not in rare air. There's about everybody who's ever driven a race car around here has went ahead, and basically you can see him. He's broadside coming through. He's lost the front end, actually. He could not get that thing to turn, staying on the power, and Connor Zilich, amongst others like Brent Cruz and Mike Skeen, go ahead and take advantage and take that gift. Say thank you very much.
So a big opportunity there. Nathan Hearn getting it wrong, but that's been the story of Nathan Hearn's season so far. He's not afraid of anything, and he'll come fighting back for sure, as he is already barging his way past the 44 of Patrick Paul. We've just heard, by the way, for fans of Michelle Abate, and as she's been the most popular driver for many years, I would say there's plenty out there. She has actually pulled off with an oil leak. She's okay, but sadly the 30 is out.
You hate to see that. That was one of her mechanics that sang us the national anthem, Ty. and does
Great
a wonderful job. And you know, it's unfortunate that I was hoping it would bring them a little bit better luck. Unfortunately, it didn't. We hate to see that, but we're on board with Nathan Hearn. That little bit of off-road conserge, it looks like it shook his camera loose, because I don't believe that's how they mounted it over there at Stevens Miller Racing, as it's kind of flopping around on the bottom of the box. But
no, it's just an Australian camera. It's upside down.
Oh, okay, that's right. It spins the other way.
Yes, exactly it.
But that, you know, back to that point, you said it. If Nathan Hearn can clean up those mistakes and just polish those up, his raw speed is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's just those little things keep biting him. You can't make those mistakes in the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers TA2 class. You just can't. Everyone is there for the taking. As we saw, he lost 3 spots in that, you know, and you just you can't give up those gifts here, especially at Lime Rock, where it's so difficult to pass. Jade really filling up the mirrors of Keith Brochuk here, making it exciting for the boss back home.
Spinner!
Scott Borchetta as we got a spin. Looks like it could be Misha.
Yeah, it could be Goikberg, yeah, in the BC car.
It looks like that BC race car is bright blue. I don't want to speak out of turn here in case it isn't, but from a distance, that's what it's appearing to be.
Well, I was keeping an eye on Misha. He had to start from the back pretty much, because he got a penalty. I think he was 18th on the grid originally. And so he was pushing on and trying to get through as quickly as he could, but we'll find out. If he can't get it restarted, that could bring out a safety car, as more battles continuing here at the front. But meanwhile, Thomas Merrill pulling away, and Evan Slater trying to stay with him. And look how close now Evan Slater has done a good job of reeling him in. Now the gap was 1 second, now it's down to 0.3.
Well, now, Jonathan, they're hitting traffic. So that was traffic that closed that gap up for Evan Slater. It was really not a good opportunity for Thomas Merrill, where he caught traffic. So that's something that's really tricky about here at Lime Rock. I actually I was kind of taught a little bit of a lesson here by Cameron Lawrence back in the day on how to manage traffic here. Cameron was very, very good at managing traffic. And so he kind of, you know, showed me that way here at Lime Rock, and because it's important. It's important to kind of give up a little bit of time. If you see that you're going to catch the car in a bad place, give up a little bit of time where you can't be attacked, so that you can catch that traffic in a better spot. So so those are kind of the bag of tricks that Thomas is going to have to reach into his pocket if he's wanting to keep Evan Slater behind him, because Evan is just coming. Evan is just methodical, like robotic, and he's looking like he's ready to attack.
Well, like I said, Evan's the one who should be the one most motivated, because his fellow youngsters, Zilich and Brent Cruz, have both had a win, and he hasn't. Somebody going off there and wide.
That's a lap car.
That's just one of the lap cars just getting out of the way effectively, but that's 37.
Mark Catenzi is who that was.
Local
so
man. Yep.
That was, you know, that's great. I mean, that's all we ask of is of traffic. If once the lead group, faster cars catch you, hold your position and let the fast group get around you. And he did a great job there, and I know that was appreciated by our lead group as they go through.
And that lead, Thomason and Ciata, the youngster, in third position now for Nitro Motorsports. So you've got Franklin Road Apparel, you've got the Bennett HP Tuners, Mike Cope Race Cars, Thomas Merrill leading the way as we go back on board with Austin Green. Green now in 8th position, chasing his teammate Rafa Matos down the front straight here at Lime Rock. Looks to the inside, does Green. These two have had good battles, and good fair battles, I may add, as teammates. Just 21 years of age, Austin Green, so we'll bow to the experience of Rafa Matos and perhaps his setup now and again, but right now it's race time.
Yeah, this is great racing amongst teammates, and, you know, that's the biggest rule at any team, right, is you race hard but no contact, right? We got to keep it clean. We don't want to be our own worst enemies, and these two do it best. I mean, Rafa, I was a joy to meet his teammate, and we had plenty of wonderful side-by-side battles, and proud to say that never rubbed each other wrong. And we've been seeing that with this group of youngsters that come in and race with this veteran that we see behind the wheel of Rafa Matos. Again, struggling. You know, watch as he turns the wheel. He's very, very ginger to turn the wheel. And that tells me, and this is, again, traffic is, that was Doug Winston, a little bit of traffic that has made Evan give a little bit of a sniff to Thomas Merrill, and keeping Thomas Merrill honest. You know, we're all aboard here, the Franklin Road Apparel Chevrolet Camaro of Evan Slater. That looked like Tom Sheehan's got some Gallagher's drag in the front bumper
Jim
there.
Gallagher's car, yeah. So he got contact with Tommy Sheehan. He's going to have to pull out of the way, but that was lucky that no one collected him even further than that. In comes Gallagher and slows off the race line. But drama indeed here at Lime Rock, as there always is.
Yeah, we'll see if that's worthy of a full course caution or if Thomas Merrill gets to come back. At least Jim was nice enough to bring the part back for the race team there for LTK Technologies, and but I hate to see that for Tom Sheehan. This is his home race as well, Tom Sheehan, and he just never seems to get good luck here. It always seems the trouble finds him, or he finds trouble or whatnot. But we're under full course caution, it seems, and a little bit of a break now, a little bit of a breather, get a little bit of a reset. Work with your tools inside the car, let the tires and brakes kind of cool down and come back to cope, and we're going to kind of see what this restart produces. But this is kind of what this race needed, was a little bit of a calm down, I think, to a little bit of a reset.
Well, we needed it. I mean because this has been frenetic. It's been great. But,
well, I've been a little selfish, Johnny. I kind of needed a break. Yeah, you're right. Because you're right. It's been absolutely just fantastic racing all the way through the field, and that's what's so awesome about this Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler TA2 class is the fight is not only up front. The fight is everywhere in this field. As they're going to work hard. The Cope Racing Group is going to work hard on getting a new right front tire on this thing.
Oh,
wow. It looks like
Misha's. Well, no, that was Misha's accident before.
No,
I wonder.
I don't think so. I think this is separate. No, I think those are separate incidences. Yeah.
Well,
these are separate incidences.
It's definitely
Sheehan.
car,
yeah.
and that is one of the BC cars, but it's not Misha.
It's the 30 of Barry Bowes.
Yes.
Is that Barry Bowes?
Texan, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Barry Bowes.
So not a surprise, a full course yellow, and it's just out of the three-dimensional services left-hand turn.
Yeah, so I hate to see that for the group there, BC Race Cars. Like we said, Detroit is right behind us. So it's imperative to make sure that you come out of here with a good race car, so that you get to the Detroit street race in just 8 short days. So this is an important time, for these teams, and important to keep that on the forefront of the drivers. And that's a shame right there. That's a lot of damage.
And right now, you're hoping your engineer will tell you if there is any other debris than the obvious, which is right here. Because obviously we had Sheehan's car being dragged, or the front of it being dragged across the circuit. So I guess you just want to know as a driver where you've got to be careful, because the puncture is, the carbon shards, etc., very, very easy to create a puncture for you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing here. I mean, you can the tires are so thin, I can't express that enough. Like the tread tire that you have on your street tire, it can withstand a certain amount of debris. That they're so thin here that just the slightest little debris will puncture right through that little bit of slick tread pattern that they have, and it's over with, right? And so that's the tricky thing about a race tire is, and that's why you hear drivers talk about all the time, I think I might have a puncture, and so on and so forth.
Well, we're under caution. My thanks to Adam Andretti giving us the insight to the Mission Foods' latest action from the Speed Tour. We'll take a short break. We'll be back from Lime Rock after this. So just seeing some of the memorabilia that Sotheby's are putting up for auction in New York in June, and some fantastic items there, all about Paul Newman's race career. And I thought it was lovely what Lizzie said to you about Paul Newman, saying that as a racing driver, you know how good you are. It doesn't have anything to do with how good your eyes are.
Wasn't that beautiful sentiment from Lily? She gave us a background into that. It was wonderful.
So as you can see, they're quickly cleaning up the debris. But this is a hard time for any driver, Adam, in that you've been in the thick of it for, the best of 15 minutes. It's a tough time to have a caution because the adrenaline's flowing, you're in your groove, you're in the zone, but then suddenly it all comes to naught and you're worried about that the monkey mind starts coming in. Is everything okay? The engineer starts talking to you. You have an assessment.
Yeah, I mean, there's at this point you got what you have. So I mean, you're kind of stuck to a certain extent. But yeah, you're certainly assessing what you have. I think Thomas Merrill, for one, has really I don't think he was unwelcoming of this caution because it didn't seem like lap traffic was playing really all that fair with him. And sometimes that's the case. A lot of times the leader gets there first and has the hardest time with lap traffic, and the lap traffic realizes, oh man, I'm in the fight for the lead, and they make it easy on everyone else. So I think he was fighting that little bit of a challenge there as well. And hopefully, he gets that form back and is able to pull the gap for himself. But just it's again, I'd like to point out, I said 3 Cope cars at the front. They're not all under the Cope Racing tent. Thomas Merrill's the only one. They're actually all 3 separate tents. You have in P2 Evan Slater under Showtime Motorsports, as we mentioned, and then you have Thomas Annunziata, who's out of Nitro Motorsports.
Yeah.
So 3 different camps with that same chassis, all dominating this race so far, bodes very well for that manufacturer.
You make a really good point there. I bet you if I were Thomas Merrill, I'd be going, well, I've got another 10 laps of clean air now, because he didn't have that before.
Exactly. I mean, he was getting ready to come in thick and heavy on some traffic, and that was going to really play a factor. And like I said, Evan was at the perfect place, at the perfect point when that comes to that. Any other time, you want to be Thomas Merrill, controlling that pace and out front until you're catching massive amounts of lap traffic. Then you're like, oh goodness, please see the blue flags, please see this, please hold your line and do those things. And so far so good. And again, get a nice complete reset here, and I think we're going to have a really exciting rest of our race here, Jonathan Green.
Well, it's a wonderful sight. 2023 Trans Am has been running since 1966. We came here in 67. 20 of the 37 years that Trans Am have come here have all been on Memorial Weekend. So it's become a tradition that has been a very special weekend here for the fans at Lime Rock, and certainly special to we at Trans Am for coming here.
Well, when you get an Andretti out of Indianapolis on Memorial Day weekend, it's pretty special day. Weekend.
We know where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I love being here. It's met with zero regret. I just love being at this atmosphere and feeling the atmosphere that the fans bring to this great facility. And I love to share the booth with you, Jonathan Green, but racing at this track is just awesome.
And am I right in saying Uncle Mario got his
first road course? His first road course win was at this facility. Yeah, no, he did that in a midget.
In a midget.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
British brilliance for you.
Yeah, and it was he was racing against another
Barry
midget.
Bose's car, obviously.
Oh, that's a shame there to see them being pulled back in the paddock. But he was racing against a 2-speed midget, and he would get the lead, and then down the front straightaway, they would click into the high gear, and they would pass him. And I forget who he was that was driving. It was another legend that he was fighting for the lead. So on the last lap, Mario just floated the valves and blew the engine, to win the race to cross the line. So very, very cool story that I get to hear from the man himself anytime we're coming to Lime Rock. I love to hear him share that story. But
now, would you be worried about that dust that's down there for the liquid that fell, or is that offline?
I mean, that's something that honestly I test at these speeds. This is the speed you kind of want to test it with and get into it and see how it collects on the tire, because you got no consequences at this point, and you'll know exactly what you're up for, and help run it through. Chances are that race control is going to ask them to run over that a little bit, ask the drivers to not avoid it, to try and run through it.
And Adam, we've got a long way to go in this one. 47 laps or 51 minutes, whichever comes first, and that means there's a lot of racing to come. This will help the tyres a little bit. That might give the likes of Merrill and Matos a thought process more about saving those tyres. It is hot out there today. Like you say, we're not often used to racing in these warm conditions at Lime Rock. So we're going to keep an eye on that, because it is a while. We certainly don't have the data. There's somebody going over that. I think that was Moffat just going, or was it Darren Mock just going over the dirt and debris there just to make sure that there's some grip, or just see what grip there is. But it's another factor when you have a safety net there. You just get a little bit more longevity to the tyre.
Right, absolutely. And we'd be remiss to have a Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler TA2 race without talking about Scott Borchetta. I know you're watching at home, buddy. You're in our thoughts. The energy just isn't the same here without you. And
soon, sir.
Jade's doing an awesome job in the 48 and carrying those colors proud for you. But every one of the Trans Am fans and all of us in this paddock are wishing you the best, buddy, and get well soon, Scott Borchetta.
Here we go then. Restart from Lime Rock. A long way to go. Merrill will lead them across the line again. Slater will try to pounce. He's in control of the race. We see it from above. Away goes Merrill. And that's a good restart. Slater slots in line, looks to the inside. Annunziato still in third. Connor Zilic, Brent Cruz. Mike Skeen looking up the inside and gets alongside Cruz. They're side by side as they come towards the three-dimensional services left-hander. Cruz just holding him off for now.
And it's going to get a little bit of dive here because, the Brent holds on to it. Crafty veteran move by the youngster there, Brent Cruz. Some of the best racecraft you're ever going to see. And, the kid is only going to get better. So it's exciting to watch him develop. And he's just as calm and collected as can be. As you see, the opposite with Nathan Hearn. Not calm at all. He's really aggressive and really fighting to go for this. As you see a little bit of damage on the front of the 87 car of Mike Skeen. Must have happened on that restart as things can accordion up, and he's got some trouble behind him because Rafa Matos
look at this.
Looks like he is under the attack by his teammate, the 89.
And Nathan Hearn's in on the game. Look at this. We're on board with Nathan Hearn.
That's going to be a little love tap there from Nathan Hearn. Going to move out of the way, and he's going to take it and open up that spot.
Rafa won't like that. Nathan Hearn, the Australian, makes his presence felt to the Brazilian former two-time champion.
Yeah, this is champ on champ crime there, right? Nathan Hearn, our Australian TA2 champion, on the American champ, Rafa Matos. So exciting stuff here.
Well, there's no question that the hustler, as he goes down the Newman Straight, will be Nathan Hearn, because that's exactly what he's doing. He's hustling this Trans Am car around. Very nicely done.
Yeah, very much so. And that little bit of damage on the front of Mike Skeen's car seems to have kind of broke him from that pack, because he was right up there on them hard. And Rafa's struggling with the downhill. Every time Rafa comes to the downhill, he's things either turning too much or not enough, because he's having to use up every bit of the racetrack to get through there.
Very tight in the midfield. Merrill trying to get away again, but once again, Slater's there with him, and Annunziato's lost a bit of ground to them in third place, and he's under pressure himself from Connor Zilic. Cruz right behind him, then Skeen, Hearn, Matos and Green glued together. Lostowski just behind in 10. Boris Said Jr. lost a place there. He's down in 11, but he's still ahead of multiple winner here in Trans Am, Dylan McAvoy.
Yeah,
on board with Green.
Yeah, good driving by Austin Green here. He drives a little bit of the curve there on the Big Machine Baca Spike Cooler West Bend, going to the downhill by Bennett Bridge Hall, presented by them. As we speak of Bennett Bridge Hall, there's one of them leading right there with Thomas Merrill, Evan Slater, hot on pursuit. Thomas Annunziata is under attack from Connor Zilic right back there, and that's going to be a good battle between those two youngsters. Thomas Annunziata, he stuck that thing on pole position there at Nola, and didn't get pushed off to start off, and had to drive from the back of that race up to the front. So here he got to start from the front. He's maintaining his position here on the podium, but who knows for how long, with Connor Zilic in the number 7 silver hair car really out on the attack.
Well, we've got the three youngsters. We're going to see how mature all of them are, because we've got Annunziata in third under massive pressure from the man who took his first win last time out, Zilic, just 16. Brent Cruz just 14 in 5th place and is second in the championship. So we'll see how cool hand Luke Brent Cruz could be, because he needs to be. He needs to stay calm and not get too excited by this battle. And Annunziata's done a very good job so far of making sure he holds on to third, but the clock's ticking and Hearn's coming.
The Peterson racing car struggling on the downhill, as I saw Mike Skeen have a handful of wheels all the way up to over the exit curve and drop it on, having to ride it out. So, and true Mike Skeen fashion, didn't even so much as crack the throttle, and just didn't even lose on it. But still, it seems like they're struggling really in that key critical point, not only for lap time, but also for protecting your position here.
How long do you think before Merrill again hits the ominous traffic that we've been talking about?
What was it, like 10, 12 laps last time?
Thought, yeah.
So I think, it's...
he wants a caution every 10 laps.
It might get a little better because the field seems to be more spread out on the ultimate start than they do on restarts. But, only time will tell on that. And that's, at that time, what you're hoping as a leader is that the team is in communication with their driver, okay? Leaders are coming up on you. Leaders are coming up through turn 7 right now, and that kind of gives a heads up. That's the ultimate way, is to get the teams involved and to let them know, really, as Connor Zilic is really being held up by Thomas and Miata. So if he can get around Thomas, I think, honestly, Connor has got something for these front two.
Yeah, well, the silver-haired team, and in fact, it wasn't all the way back to 2020. And I think that was Rafa Matos that they got their last win before the last time out in Atlanta. So it was a big weekend at round 3. It feels like it was an eon ago, but it was 8 weeks ago. So we're almost trying to retell the story. And the story is, so far, Rafa Matos got a win at the first race. Then Brent Cruz got a win at NOLA. And then at Atlanta, of course, Zilic took his first career win. And that's why it's so open. Evan Slater's been there or thereabouts. And in fact, the top 5 have been kind of the top 5 we're looking at right now as we go on board with Jay Buford. Buford in 13th position, chasing Dylan McAbern.
Yeah, as you see, they have already caught traffic here on lap 29 after the restart. So, you know, again, doing a great job there to make sure that not getting in the mix of these racers up front here. And you never want to be that as lap traffic. We all know that. That's the last thing you want to do is be the effect of the lead or of the front pack. So. But Thomas, he's having to absolutely use every bag of trick that he has.
Misha Goikerberg, I mentioned him before. Misha Goikerberg up to what, 18th position, and he started there.
So on board here with Nathan Hearn as it goes into the Mission Foods Big Bend. Turns 1 and 2. Some of that is an intimidating turn 1 and 2 for those folks at home. You're attacking with such speed, and really the first part of that corner is quite fast, and a big part of your heavy pressure braking zone while the car is all upset to get really slowed down for the second part of that corner, and then you're really setting up for the left-hander, the only left-hander on the track. So your right side tires are usually pretty cold, but they're also fresh towards the end of the race. So
Zilic went wide then for a moment. He's under massive pressure, isn't he?
I tell you, this place, it's you can tell it's greasy out there. I've never seen so many cars dropping wheels here and on such a consistent basis. There's been, you know, a massive dust cloud out of the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill almost every single lap from at least somebody out of the 35 cars that took the green flag here today. A record TA2 class, by the way.
Whoa, Rafa goes past. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's a lap car. Yeah, so that's good.
Oh,
good work
big mistake there from the number 17.
That's a 17. That's the youngster.
Dylan McAbern.
Oh, that's Dylan McAbern. Yeah. So Dylan, the veteran, coming through.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems to me that you should worry less about overtaking and more about hounding the guy in front to make a mistake, right?
Yeah, this is a home race, you know, for him. So this is a big deal, and we're, you know, expecting big things, honestly, from Dylan. He always runs really well here. I think they've been struggling with their pace as well. You know, I'm definitely not calling anything out. Just the M1 cars, for whatever reason here this weekend, have just struggled for overall pace and really haven't had a shining star amongst them. You know, and you can see the 89 Austin just hanging on for dear life. Adrian Blastowski gonna take advantage. This is 4th position. Adrian's gonna take that position away from Austin Green. Way to go, Adrian. Moving on. He's got to set Rafa Matos in his sights now and just try and drive away. And again, Austin seems to be really struggling with the handling of his three-dimensional services group, Chevrolet Camaro.
This is a great battle. Austin Green doing a great job, but he's under massive pressure himself. So we're watching. He's looking in the mirrors. We're looking in the mirrors. You can see his gear changes as he comes out of the Newman Straight and up the hill again.
You can see where you have to breathe the throttle there because you're getting light on the uphill. It's one of the coolest parts of all of racetracks we visit is you actually leave the ground here. And and that's how you honestly know that you hit the uphill just right. Yeah, Adrian Blastowski, once he has opened up that gap now, and you can see that Dylan McAbern is on the tear. He's gone underneath Austin Green to follow up Adrian Blastowski, with Adrian moving up through the field. Now he's really gained a lot of time in just one lap on Rafa Matos. You can see that right there. He's done a great job closing that gap. But again, here at Lime Rock Park, catching and passing, two totally different things.
Yeah, we're getting to the halfway point in this race, and it's been green for most of it. We've had one major caution, 2 cars involved, and we've had 3 or 4 cars go out, including Abate, who went out with an oil leak. But At the front, Thomas Merrill doing the business, the man who won the championship by the nearest of margins on a countback last year, and is due a win and due to move forward from his 4th place on the grid. He won here last year. He knows he needs to make hay in this next 10 days. 2 races coming into Detroit as part of the Indy race weekend. That's a street circuit that nobody's been to, so it's going to be into the blue beyond and going into the darkness next weekend. So Merrill will need all of experience. Look at this traffic jam forming now in this midfield battle here between several cars, 6 cars in all.
Yeah, it seems like Austin Green is really struggling, and that's kind of holding up the pack behind him. Jade Buford there got a little bit wide in the left-hander. It looks like he lost the rear end a little bit on entry. So that cost him his gap to Boris Stead Jr., but he was looking to attack Boris Stead Jr. as the Peterson Racing cars seem to be struggling, like I said, with their handling. Back on board with Jade Buford as he heads into the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers West Bend. Going on the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill, again chasing here. You can see how much more corner speed he could carry than the youngster in front of him, Boris Stead Jr. It's only going to be a matter of time before Jade is going to be able to mount that serious attack as he's going ahead and showing a nose to the youngster up, Boris Stead Jr. up front. How cool was it that Boris said as our Grand Marshal
very
here?
Cool.
He's an awesome ambassador for the sport, as I said. You're not going to find a person maybe that loves Trans Am more than Boris said. So to have him exude that passion, wave that green flag for his son in this race, pretty special moment.
The leader's coming up on Ty Young, currently in 25th. He's in his own race. He's trying to chase down Chris Durbin, but as you can see, the leader's now coming up on him. But luckily, they found him on the straight, and they should pass him. Here comes our leader, Merrill. He gets past him into turn 1. This could be crucial. Slater needs to get through, and he needs to get through now, and he's not going to do it. Slater in trouble.
And you got to remember, those are so that was the one time that I guarantee you a team called in the lap car, because that's a Mike Cope car leading, and that's a Mike Cope car that Ty Young is driving. And I guarantee you they were on the phone with Ty Young, letting him know that lap traffic's there. So Ty now is most important that he needs to be in that mirror. There's no race in front of him. The race is behind him. Be in the mirror. Keep yourself clean. Hold your line, and let these faster cars get through. That is the magic.
Yeah, Zilic almost touched him as he went past Bruce and but now we're going to crash though. Is that Darren
like,
Mott or is it Jade Buford?
That looks like it was Thad Moffitt. We let Thad Moffitt, the 43.
Yeah, the 43.
He's got a little bit of right rear damage there, so I don't know if he got helped. I don't know if he got helped on that, but that damage and where he ended up, it looks to me like somebody might have a left front fender that's got a little bit of something, a little bit of evidence on it.
Well, he's parked on the front straight, so that's not a good sign, but let's see if they can drag him out of there, or he can get under power and get out of there. Slater, just getting a little wiggle on.
I mean, if they can't get him sorted and he's not moving, then I can see that being a full course caution. So that'd be a shame, and I hate to see that for Thad and his partner Safety Clean, and they're wonderful supporters of him and the Petty family, and I know it's a wonderfully mutual partnership, and I know they want to be out here making laps. Thad needs that experience, and Greg Stedman, who's turning the wrenches on those things. That was my brother's crew chief in Cup back in the early 2000s at Petty Enterprises. So on the 43 Cheerios Dodge. So I love that part about the sport. We always get to kind of revisit each other and see each other through. But this mix, this battle up front is getting to be really, really good.
Yeah, and in fact, you can see Moffitt's car off and safe out of the way, so we won't need a safety car. They'll be able to drag him back from there. But Slater looking for his way past Merrill.
Evan Slater is not only hunting down his first win, but he's also hunting down the first ever win for Showtime Motorsports, as we do have a double yellow, full course caution. Jonathan Green, what is this going to do to us?
Well, it's going to give some more clean air to Merrill, which is just what he wanted, but yeah, you're right, it's not easy.
The
in
two
comes
cars
the number
been
2,
pulled
that's
in.
Jeff Birdwell.
Yeah, that's a shame. Hate to see anyone lose their day there, but you can see that car's reminiscence of those good old Rusty Wallace days. Number 2 font, looking like the old Rusty Wallace Cup cars back in the day, the Miller Light cars that I remember he drove to such success. So, wondering if old Birtwell there is a big fan.
Shout out to Misha Goikberg, up to 17th now, so he's come all the way from the back and done a really good job.
Look at how packed that infield is. Not an inch of real estate left here at Lime Rock Park. I mean, I can't say it enough about the fans. Thank you so much for supporting us and coming out here in the droves that you come out in. Those of you at home that are watching, thank you so much. we love that support. You're who we race for, and this weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, this is for those Gold Star families. You know, you are with us. You are in our hearts. You are in our thoughts, and this is the day that shows it for us.
So we're under caution here at the moment at Lime Rock, and what a frenetic race we've had, but it's being dominated at the moment by Merrill, and really, really impressive by Thomas Merrill, our current champion, and he goes into this week knowing that he can make hay, and if he can do what he's doing now and stay at the front, this could be a big couple of weekends for him.
Okay, so we have we're on board here with Jade Buford, and you know, a couple of things that we saw there. Austin Green has been moving to the inside. I don't know if if he thinks he has a problem and he needs his team to look at it. But that's usually a sign for us drivers. We'll move to the inside so that they can get a closer look at the car. So I don't know if that's why he's moved over, but he's moved over and just let Jade Buford by right then. So not too sure what's going on with the 89, but yeah, he seems to just be dropping to the back of the pack for some reason. So we'll be looking to see what happened, what came through there. Thomas Merrill still maintaining this lead. He has led from the start, from pole position. He laid down the lap yesterday, Jonathan Green. That was just absolutely outstanding. It's one of those qualifying laps that I don't even know Thomas could repeat if he wanted to.
We've been under caution here. We've begun the caution here. We are 29 laps to go in this race, and the reason we're under caution is Thad Moffat's car, number 43, the famous 43 of Richard Petty, the grandson of, is out of this race and had to be basically towed out. In fact, he's now just made it through turn 2, and they've taken him to the back of the paddock, and so that is why we were under caution. But we've got a cracking race here, folks. Hope you're enjoying it on MAV and wherever you're watching it around the world, because we've got Evan Slater, the hard, young, charging Evan Slater, looking for victory here for Franklin Road Apparel. But it's a road to perdition in many ways, because he's got to get past the man in front of him, and that, of course, is Thomas Merrill, our current champion, who has done a great job of making that car, that number 26, as wide as he possibly can.
Yeah, and Thomas is a magician at that. He makes the car very wide. He's fair. He's a fair racer, but you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to fight tooth and nail to get that out of him, and rightfully so. That's why he's a champion. Champions don't lay down for anybody. So Evan Slater's up for the fight of his life to get his first ever win, not only in the series but also the first win for Showtime Motorsports. You know, since Ken's XGT days. So this is a big deal. A lot at stake. I'm sure he's feeling the pressure inside the Franklin Road Apparel Chevrolet Camaro. Derek, his crew chief, I'm sure doesn't have a fingernail left on his hands as he's working hard. It's so hard to get the speed on these cars, and it's just great to see how they've gelled over there.
Critical restart now for this race. We are at round 4, and while that doesn't sound like it's critical, given that we've got 3 races in just 1 week, 2 to come in Detroit next weekend, what happens here is so critical. If you break your car here, you're going to struggle to get it ready for Detroit. If you win here, you can take that impetus into a completely new, brand new street circuit, and Merrill knows that all too well as the current champion from Salinas, California. Grew up racing in club racing with his mum, watching on the sidelines and also doing some club racing herself in Porsches. But the man who is champion, Merrill, getting ready for this restart. We look from above as Merrill controls the field. Off comes the pace car. Slater will look for his chance up the inside. We're on board with Evan Slater now. That's his view. As the green flag waves, we're racing again. Merrill heads up to turn 1. And away he goes down to the Mission Foods turn 1. And Slater again looking very, very racy, but can't quite do it. Hearn's back in the throng of it all in the 29 after going off at the last corner. But here we go, Adam. A good, clean restart.
Yeah, Thomas is like absolutely on point with his restarts. I don't see a restart being a point of attack for Evan Slater. What Evan needs is a good run, and Nathan Hearn's got one right now on that 88 car. So he might, if Nathan's the kind of guy that I can see stick a nose in, and he didn't, but he's going to stick a nose in here at West Bend. I can probably almost assure you that, because he is feeling racy. Rafa's going to go to defend. And Rafa used a lot of curve, and he's really working hard to stay in front of Hearn. What's Hearn going to do here on the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill? He's going to let Rafa go wide. Going to take advantage.
Nathan Hearn.
That's a wise move. Very wise move by the Australian.
Very impressive by the Australian. Down the main straight, Rafa Matos, you just got taught an overtake at Lime Rock, and that was not what he enjoyed, and Lostowski's made it even worse by touching Rafa as Rafa was concentrating on the Aussie. Lostowski thought this was his chance, and off goes the three-dimensional services multiple champion.
Yeah, Rafa was struggling big on the handling. He couldn't even get to the apex on the downhill. I'm telling you right now, Rafa Matos does not miss apexes. So that is certainly an ill-handling race car. They have struggled here all weekend long. This is just really, unfortunately, reminiscent of the 2022 year.
Adam, let's have a look at it again, because we're on board with Rafa now. Let's see it from his point of view.
So Rafa right here, he's got Nathan on the inside, but this is on a restart, so the freight train is coming, and the freight train's there. And you got Lostowski right here to the inside, and you know, all the load is in favor of Lostowski. So when Rafa came down to close the door, we got Aaron Papitas. He's off track back there. The Canadian just ran off of the downhill. But yeah, this is really quite a crazy race here. As you're seeing, the 89 is going to have to work his way back up to the field. The 89 was called to pit lane during that yellow flag. I have not gotten word on as to why, but he was definitely called to pit lane, along with the lap cars to reset. So I don't know. We'll get probably story on what race control had 89 do there, but I'm sure there was some sort of infraction that they were not happy with, and that was maybe possibly his punishment.
We just got a thing from race control saying that the 88 needs to do a pass-through for jumping the start, pulled out of his line, and so there's more trouble for Rafa, because that pretty much big points here. So Evan Slater and Merrill with a great opportunity now, because a drive-through penalty for Rafa Matos. Big news story.
Oh, that's really critical for this championship, because Connor Zillage comes in with a lot of momentum. Brent Cruz, he's just been super consistent, and this is a big turn in the championship. And now you got Thomas Merrill just dominating this thing. So Thomas, if things keep going this way for the next 23 laps for that young man, you're looking at a full points haul for the guy. A pole position, lead the most laps, and I'm guessing, by leading a lap, you get the full points haul. So this is a big deal in the championship swing, and definitely not what the 88 wanted to see, and definitely not Rafa Matos what he wanted to experience here today. As we look at his teammate Mike Skeen in the boss's car. Now Mike's doing a nice job handily there into the top 6. He's running 6th.
Well, it's been an explosive day for this man under braking into Mission Foods. Nathan Hearn in the 29. Not afraid to mix it with the likes of Rafa Matos and get the best of him. But Nathan Hearn returning to track after doing some grass tracking of his own at the last corner, but still very much in the hunt at the moment. And we're looking forward to seeing how far he can get back up. At the moment, he is, down in 7th place at the moment, trying to chase down Mike Skeen, who's got a little bit of damage to that car. No problems, though, for Merrill so far. Slater second, Annunziato. It's been that way throughout this, and so too Brent Cruz and Connor Zillage going at it still. The three of the youngsters going hard here at Lime Rock. Their first real major outing here in the drive for sure.
Yeah, Thomas is up to his old tricks up front. He's pulling that gap, all the way up until lap traffic comes, and I'm sure that's going to bring it right back into Evan Slater's hands. So this is good. Jade Buford here's making a move. As Jade is going to go ahead and move himself up another spot.
Yeah, it's been a good run from Jade Buford. He's got plenty of experience if you're going to come in and replace Scott Borchetta. And we say again, Scott, if you're watching, I'm sure you are, we wish you well. We wish also Tony Garcia well as well. He's watching, our regular pit lane man. not able to be here. Bit of debris on the track. That's one of the Mission Foods flags down there. It won't do any harm to the cars. That skiing damage doesn't look good, though, does it? It looks like he's got a bent nose at the front of that car.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of nose damage. I think it would cause, it could cause a little bit of a lift on the nose, the way it's pocketing the air up. But if anyone could drive around an issue, it's Mike Skeen. As we see the 45 car on a little bit of an off-course excursion there, that's Michael Phillips. He's making his way back on. No worse for wear, but he is doing that right in front of our leaders, which that's not exactly what they want to see, but really heads-up move, really good heads-up move, getting out of the way of those leaders. Hold your line. Just let this next group come on through. That a boy. Nice work there, Michael. Good work.
Down the Newman Straight they go, and back up the hill they make their way here at Lime Rock in perfect conditions. Merrill doing the business, our champion, and last year's winner here at Lime Rock in very different conditions, I may add. Really impressed by the patience of both Zilic and Enciata and Brent Cruz. They've been together on track, but not really pushing too hard. They've just been waiting, and that's the smart move. I said it was a case of hurry up, being patient in some ways, or being patiently fast is another way of putting it. I knew that the more experienced likes of Merrill and Matos know exactly what that's all about. Hearn doesn't know patience. He just keeps going on the Cube 3. And, but the Australian's been sensational.
The class of the field today has been the top two. Thomas Merrill and Evan Slater have been able to work this field handily and kind of run away from the rest of the group. Nathan Hearn, he's suffered a little bit of damage on the front of the car through some of these moves, and I think that's affecting his handling a little bit, and that's why he doesn't have necessarily the charge that he had earlier on in the run, and he could fall into the grasp here pretty quick of Adrian Blostowski. And what a great story he's been. He's top 10 in points, but has not had a top 10 finish yet this season, Jonathan Green. So he is staring at his first top 10, riding in 8th right now with, under 20 laps to go. So Adrian is having himself a wonderful drive.
I'll tell you what.
Here he comes. There's on the point to Nathan Hearn. Just as we start talking about it, Nathan's going to take deep into the braking zone.
Oh, nice work by Hearn. That was good braking.
Yeah, that was incredible. He definitely worked him hard into the braking zone there.
I'll tell you what, we love racing for the overtakes and the drama, but I have to say, for the aficionados, there is, 0.02 of a second in lap times between Merrill and Slater on the last few laps. This is qualifying at Lime Rock, lap after lap after lap, and neither man is giving an inch.
And neither of them are making a mistake. I mean, it's just, they're brilliant driving up front from both of these. I mean, in a race where we've seen almost every lap somebody drop wheels on this exit there, these two haven't done any of that. Like, these are, every other car out there looks like a rally car a little bit because they got so much dirt on them. And these two up front, they've showed how clean they've been, and just absolutely brilliant driving by both of them. As you said, the Mission Food signs are out there. They're not going to hopefully cause any damage, maybe catch you up by surprise and a little slippery, but shouldn't do anything detrimental to cars.
Well, let me ask you this. Slater obviously is not pushing too hard to force a mistake. He's just trying to keep Merrill honest. But when, we're at 51 of 68, when does he start to push a little bit more? When does his engineer say, okay, your tires are good, go?
With 4 or 5 to go. You want to wait. You don't want to wait that long to show Thomas Merrill what you got, because once you show Thomas, you've shown him, and he's going to know where to attack. He's gonna hunt you, and it's not going to be easy. But if you can kind of be patient and buy your time and see where your strengths are to his weaknesses, then I'd say the last 5 laps you attack.
Well, listen, guys, if you're sitting at home, if little Jimmy or little Jessica is sitting at home and you're 7 years old, head down to the kart track after watching this, because that's exactly what Evan Slater did at the age of 7. He went to a kart track and he's never looked back, and look at him now, going for glory here at Lime Rock on Memorial Weekend and taking on one of the best we've got.
Yeah, this is what's so fun about this series is not only I say there's battles everywhere, but the difference in the battles, right? You have a veteran, Thomas Merrill, who's accomplished so much in this sport, motorsport, period, and then you have Evan Slater, who's just coming through. The raw speed is absolutely incredible out of these youngsters. It's this racecraft that every lap that Evan is behind Thomas Merrill, he is picking up something. These youngsters are sponges too. They soak it up and they don't release it. So all this information is going into their data bank, and it just makes them that much harder to race week in and week out. So, yeah, it's talking to Thomas at the beginning of this one. He said it. He said it best. Is he's using every trick he's got because he has to. There's no
there
other
goes
way.
off the 45. Now, he was the man getting out of everybody's way earlier, and now he's in the way because he's off track and in a position that might cause a safety car. That's Michael Phillips, the local man.
Yeah, that could bring out a safety car if he doesn't get out of the way there. But yeah, that was Michael or Mark. Michael Phillips there. And it's this place. I'm sure it's greasy out there. The sun is beating down. This is probably our highest track temperatures we've had. The cars are hot. They're sliding around. The environment's hot inside of it. So the mistakes can come pretty much a lot easier then too. When you're physically, struggling there.
Damage to the left-hand side of Hearn's car, quite heavy, but not affecting his current speed.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Some of the mistakes that Nathan was making was causing damage, and I think it has affected the handling there. On the left front, that arrow is super important, especially coming down the downhill, and that's where he's struggling the most. If Adrian's getting a run anywhere, it's been right through there. Full course yellow. We have a full course yellow out here for Michael, the 42 car that was spun off, and so that again bunches things up. And as we saw, yellows here today have been really kind to us. We have not bred more yellows from them, and we've seen really good racing result out of it. So I'm excited to see what happens here on this restart. And again, it shows. I mean, your whole race can go down and be affected dramatically if you jump the start. You got to be disciplined. You cannot. David Hoots does not want us to move out of line until we've crossed that Lime Rock start-finish line that you see right there on that long front straightaway.
We're under caution again then. Thomas Merrill leading the way, Evan Slater, and he'll have to do it all again. Annunziata still in third. It's been that way throughout this whole race. Now, can Thomas Merrill hold on to take a famous victory here at Lime Rock? It's certainly been an interesting race for Merrill, and like I said, he's kind of getting his wish because, again, everybody's going to file through. Everybody's going to give him the clean air he needs at the front to pull away again, but it's only going to last to 10 laps, but it might be just enough to get him to the finish.
I honestly can't wait for the last 5 laps, and the reason I say that is that's when we should really see the true pace of Thomas Merrill. For all we know, Thomas has been up there just kind of letting Evan have that sniff, so that he has something left over, because I could see Thomas having that kind of savviness as well. So I think our 100% true speed that we'll see out of Thomas Merrill is going to be in those last 5 laps. Whether it be good or bad, I don't know, but it'll be 100%.
All right, I'll take devil's advocate. I'll put my head down as in Evan Slater's position and say, you know what? I haven't tried to make a move on him. I've just sat behind him. I know that this race is going to be the last 10 minutes, so I'm going to just wait. I'm going to wait till this next restart. Then I'll show him what I got. Because right now, he hasn't made one lunge. He's been very close at turn 1, but there's never been anything that's like, oh, that's a little bit iffy. As Ty Young, obviously, is another reason for this caution, parked up in the 22. But I think that Evan really now will start to make those moves that he could have made, but is now going to try to make him pull off this time.
No, that's a valid point, Jonathan Green. And Evan Slater, if you know anything about this young man, he is calm, cool, and he is calculated. So he could be sitting there just waiting for that moment to pounce too. Now, like I said, as long as Thomas stays on his game in these restarts, I don't see that even them touching him on the restarts. I mean, he's blasted 2 or 3 car lengths on every single restart. So that is definitely something working in his favor, and we'll see.
Well, this has been a fantastic game of cat and mouse here at Lime Rock in the splendid sunshine of Connecticut, because Thomas Merrill and Evan Slater, and if you want to include the top 3, Annunziata as well, have really just watched each other very carefully at massive speed and massive precision here throughout this race. It's far from over. There are 13 laps to go and 15 minutes of this race to go. We're under caution at the moment because of 2 cars going off, the 45 and the 22 of Ty Young. Not involved, separate incidents, I may add. So that's why we've got a truck on track. You can see it just here from the drone. But as they head down the now named Newman Straight, after the great late Paul Newman, who had such a history of racing here including racing the number 78. His final race in a Trans Am car. He had 2 victories in Trans Am over his career, but the 78 was when he was 78 years old, and he came back just before he passed at 83 in 2008 and drove a Corvette, I believe.
GT1 car, yeah.
GT1 Corvette in front of his family. Literally, they gave him the track and said, "Off you go, old man."
That's all. It's so, and that just shows what the man's passion was for this sport, and it truly was a passion. It wasn't a hobby. This was something that, you know, Lily let us into the back door of that, you know, with her father, and the interview I was graced with on pit road. Thank you for that again, Lily. But it was, you know, she let us in that he felt, you know, that he measured up, you know, and it wasn't about the looks or his acting abilities or roles that he took. It was even playing ground, and that was really satisfying for the man. And I know that my uncle and him enjoyed an amazing friendship. I was very blessed to be around him in many ways and have great Paul Newman stories. And it's just a wonderful family, and it was just such an awesome thing to get to see Lily again here today.
Yep, he was nobody's fool, both in front of the camera and on a racetrack. A multiple SCCA champion and well revered amongst the racing community. Paul Newman loved his racing because he wasn't old blue eyes. He wasn't the most recognized guy in an elevator or a car or in the paddock. He could just be himself, but pretty much he got left alone while he was racing, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, all except for when George Robinson was in the paddock and racing him in Trans Am, because George Robinson, as racers tend to be, are complete pranksters. And at one time, George rented a bus, a large Greyhound bus, and had it pick up a whole group at a retirement home and bring them to the Trans Am races, park outside of Paul Newman's bus, and say, hey, Paul Newman's going to come out and sign autographs. And so Paul Newman came out to a group of retirement home folks greeting Paul Newman right outside of his bus. So, yeah, that's probably why he loved the racing, because he felt like everyone would pull pranks on him and do things. He felt just like another one of the guys, another one of the racers out here. And that was one of my favorite stories. That George, not only a Trans Am legend himself, but his son, 2-time TA2 champion, class champion, and now competes in the IMSA series in the LMP3 class.
Well, we just heard from race control that we will be going green at the start of this next lap. And so that gives me, 20 seconds to get to Adam to sum up what we think we're about to see in this last 10, 15 minutes. Adam, who's your call on?
Again, I'm telling you right now, Thomas Merrill's the restart's going to be tough. What I'm looking for is just further down in the pack. Adrian Vlastowski, I see him popping on Nathan Hearn and making a move there. He's got the grip between his teeth. Mike Skeen has been looking to jump on Brent Screws every single one of these restarts and just hasn't gotten the right positioning on him quite yet. Connor Zillage looks like he's racing with the championship on his mind. He's coming off his first ever win at Road Atlanta, and he's sitting really pretty in P4. Remember, he was kind of sitting in this position at NOLA and fought his way through. And at Road Atlanta, you know, he's not one to count out there at the end. And Evan Slater, too, this youngster, he's got really, really good skills between, and not only driving, but between his ears, he stays incredibly calm. So this is going to be a lot of fun here, Jonathan Green.
It is going to be fun. Down the main straight here at Lime Rock. Here we go again. Thomas Merrill, can he do it all again? He's done it twice already. Now he's got to do it again.
I mean, look at the restart. Look at the restart he gets. I mean, and
brilliant again.
And behind him, Annunziata
goes to second. There's touching there, and off almost goes Evan Slater. Side by side.
Connor Zillage going to make it 3 wide. Connor Zillage out of the Big Bend.
This is so close, and through goes the three-dimensional services car.
Oh, Adrian, no.
Lostowski in the 25.
Oh, goodness. I mean, that guy can't buy a break, and that's just so, I hate to see that for him in that fast group. They've just struggling so much right there, and that was just so bottled up there on that restart. I tell you, Evan Slater did not get taken off. He did not take off on that restart all that well. Bottled him up behind him, and that really opened the door. As we look as the restart, Thomas Annunziata climbs a little bit too much curb, gets into Evan Slater. That backs everyone up. Connor Zillage, really kind of the big loser when he tried to go P3, and then you see that Adrian spinning around there on the outside. Nowhere for the 25 car to go. That's the 25 car. We hate to see that as well. There's nowhere for Chris Durbin to go in that. As we're back now live, caution flag is flying. So I believe we're under full course caution for Adrian as he couldn't quite get out. He's down there on the inside. So we're going to get caution. Again, I hate to say it, but I might have threw the commentator curse on there. I said that our cautions have not bred cautions till now. And lo and behold, my good friend Adrian Blastowski right there, he's popping out. You know, he's okay. That's good.
You know, the big story of that's starting to come to fruition here as we watch, obviously, the carnage, sadly, of Adrian's car. But the big story will be that Brent Cruz could lead this championship now, with Rafa having the problems he's had with that pass-through penalty at the restart. So that would change things up mightily by Detroit.
And Adrian's a guy that you see him down there. The reason he's down there is he works on these race cars. He's not a guy that shows up with his helmet bag and just goes and straps himself in the race car. His hands are just as calloused and greasy as anybody that's on his teams. He's out there always working on this car. So I know he's assessing his damage already, looking at what they have to do to get this thing ready for Detroit. But that is not what he wanted to see, not what he wanted to experience, obviously. He had such a good run going. Adrian, my buddy, sorry. You really had a great run, and that was going to be a good points haul for you today, so you didn't need that.
Yeah, a real shame, because, as you say, this is
so all of that carnage really did mix up this top 10 quite a bit, though. You know, brings Dylan McIvern into the top 10 as ninth. Robert Noacker up into the P8. Keith Prochuk into the top 10. Jade Buford had some issues there on one of our restarts that got buried in the field. He's back up to P11. Rafa Matos has recovered from his stuff back to P13. So there's some, this has kind of been helpful to some of those.
Well, it's been a race that's had everything. There's no question about that. So we still remain waiting for the restart of this one, but we're running out of time now. 8 laps remaining, 8 minutes on the board, and then it becomes a case of whether it's the clock or the laps.
That's a heck of a way to end your day there. That's I mean, get AMSOIL, the sponsor, gets up there on the TV, so that's you know, good on that part, but unfortunately that's not the way you want to end your day.
Absolutely not. On board with Jay Buford, and as we've been saying all weekend long, our wishes for Scott Borchetta to get well soon. He had a prang at Road Atlanta and he's out at the moment, but has got a great replacement in Jay Buford. Bags of experience and flying the 48 flag for the Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I know Scott's watching at home, so again, a big shout out to you, bud. You know, he's holding a pretty wheel here. Jade is. He's P11 currently behind Keith Prochuk. But they're going to have a good battle here. I believe he can sneak in and get himself a good top 10 run here. Up front, though, this has been the all Thomas Merrill show here on this Memorial Day Classic at Lime Rock Park. In this Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers TA2 class, he has just certainly just put it to school here today.
Yeah, by the way, Rafa Matos fans, he's 13th at the moment, starting the day as the championship leader, but that will lose now to Brent Cruz. If Cruz finishes where he is at the moment in 7th, that could change as well, but it's been a big day so far by the young 14-year-old Brent Cruz in the number 17 Ford Nitro Motorsports.
You know, I said it mixed it up, but don't look now. I mean,
excuse me, Franklin Road. What am I talking about?
Mike Skeen has put himself up there as well.
My apologies, Franklin Road, Brent Cruz. So then, we're under caution, not for the first time by any means, but for Thomas Merrill, it's been a nail-biting weekend of racing because he got the pole in brilliant circumstances. There was less than a second between the top 18 in qualifying. That's how competitive 2023 at Trans Am, the longest road racing series in America, is in the current form. We are about to go racing again. It's been a pretty interesting day, as it always is, for Nathan Hearn. I wish we were doing a documentary on him. He needs one. Australia, if you're listening, we need a documentary on Nathan Hearn. He's fantastic. Q3 are very happy with their sponsorship.
And don't look now, but Mike Skeen in the 87, the boss's car, is P3.
Okay, that's a very good point, yeah. Don't ever count out Mike Skeen. Now, you can see that the safety car is doing one more lap, so that gives Merrill a little bit more time and breathing room with 6 laps to go.
Now, Mike Skeen, it's the attack. He'll on the restarts. That's where it's absolutely brilliant. The way he played that last restart, that was pure veteran stuff. I mean, that's what puts him up into that P3 position and in this position here to be a real nightmare on the front pack here. So you have 2 Cope cars still up front, but that M1 chassis that we said, you know,
that they didn't seem to be showing speed. Well, they're showing speed with Mike Skeen behind the wheel there in P3.
Tell you a man we haven't mentioned, the youngster Robert Noaker, the third, up into 8th position here, and that is a great result for Nitro Motorsports, getting him up there in the Ford Mustang, just behind Brent Cruz in the Franklin Road Mobil 1 car, and that is really impressive. Another youngster making his way. We've got so many, and we'll be keeping an eye on the Young Guns Championship too. That started out the day with Brent Cruz leading it from Connor Zilic, Evan Slater in third, so they'll all improve. Darren Mock in that hunt too, as is Thad Moffitt. He sadly won't score, having gone out in the 43 earlier in this race. Back on board with Evan Slater, and it's been a fantastic story about Merrill, but don't count out Evan Slater for a great story for the day. Slater starting the day in 5th position overall in the championship and looking to improve. He's yet to win a race, but he's right there. Started the day on 2:44 and 5th overall. And this could be a great movement for Slater if he stays where he is or possibly takes the win.
And my advice to Evan Slater is tighten up the gap on these restarts, although doesn't look like Thomas got that good of a jump on that one, but you know who did? Mike Skeen.
Yes,
Mike
Skeen got a much better restart.
He's going to make that move on the outside.
Oh, nicely done, Mike Skeen, using all his experience, the three-dimensional services, using 3 dimensions to get through there. And he does go into 2nd place. Skeen now on the hunt of Merrill.
And sometimes it's not a commentator's curse. Sometimes you just call the shot. And
Exactly.
I know Mike Skeen. I know what kind of attack he's got. And he knows one thing, and that's to win races, and that's what he's headed for. He's P2 right now behind Thomas Merrill, and I bet you at this point Thomas is like, all right, now we're going to see that true pace. Remember, Jonathan?
Ciata.
That was a beautiful pass on that uphill. That is unbelievable.
And Hearn got through, and another big crash behind. Massive crash here in the closing stages on lap 64. Hearn on the grass for a second. More drama, side-by-side action through 7. It's all happening here. Dust flying up everywhere, cars flying everywhere. Evan Slater trying to stay calm, but losing 2 places at the restart.
That was not fortuitous for that deal, but I tell you right there, Connor Zilic made a big move there, and that's going to be important. I think that crash there that we saw is going to be a full course yellow. I think we're a full course yellow. There's no way. There was a massive impact on the uphill. That's Keith Prochuk. Looks like he's moving around inside the car. That's important. But that was a big impact. You're carrying a lot of speed up there. Unfortunately, I know what it's like to hit the wall there. I did that in a TA car many years ago, and it's a violent crash. So hopefully everything's okay with Keith inside the car. I did see him moving around, so that's positive. But yeah, that's. I believe that unfortunately Jonathan could have ended our race. But great run up front, and boy, I'd have loved to have seen that go back to a restart there with Mike Skeen. But man, heavy impact back there.
We'll probably get another look at it because it was midfield, and so we were watching the leaders as we should. But I think there's no question that Prochuk was involved in a multi-car incident, but he came off worse. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, you see him parked up there, and then cars trying to avoid him but can't, and so that brings other people into it. So he got a few hits there, did Keith. But he's a tough old boy, old Keith Prochuk. Yeah, one of the cars was BC's Misha Goikberg. So we're under caution again with just 3 to go, and I've got a feeling that we could end that way, and that would be, in some ways, just desserts for Thomas Merrill anyway, because he does deserve this victory. Mike Skeen got into 2nd place in the at the restart there ahead of Thomas Annunziata. Connor Zilic still there in 4th position. Nathan Hearn still 5th, but was grass tracking again, but still there. And Noaker up to 6th place. This is turning out to be a massive weekend for young Robert Noaker, and he doesn't do, or hasn't done, full seasons in Trans Am up until this point, but he's another one of the youngsters trying to make his way through, and this could be a great result for him overall. So they try to clean up the damage and debris as quickly as they can. It's been a drama-filled race, but it always is here at Lime Rock. It's such a tight course, such a short course, the shortest here on our Trans Am series. Nathan Hearn, Cube 3 onboard Ford Mustang. It's been a An eventful weekend for him, no question about that. Rafa Matos down in 13th position. He's up to 11th after the restart, but it still won't be enough, I don't think, not to lose that championship lead. There was only 15 points between him. Merrill, Skeen and Annunziata. Zilic, Hearn and Noacre. Back on board with Nathan Hearn. And the checkered flag is coming out for sure, so I think we're going to end on this. And that means that Thomas Merrill will take a very, very important win here. White flag being displayed here, but the checkered flag is getting ready. But either way, we're going to finish under caution, and Thomas Merrill is going to be the winner of this race. And I think Mike Skeen should get the second place, despite the fact that he only just did that overtake at the last restart. So then, it is an official win then for Thomas Merrill. Mike Skeen will take second place, and Annunziata taking third. Zilic fourth. Hearn does hold on to fifth place. Noacre sixth. Cruz seventh. He lost out there in the closing stages, did Brent Cruz, and that just may help Rafa Matos in the points going into Detroit. Slater drops to 8th position, and that's a real shame for him. And as you can see, Merrill waving to the crowd, and that's actually one of, I think, Thomas's finest victories, because he was under pressure throughout the entire race from Evan Slater, had to do multiple restarts to get to where he was, but that was impressive by Merrill. Thomas Merrill wins at Lime Rock in a memorable Memorial weekend for TA2. The crowd heading down the hill now to enjoy the celebrations with Thomas, because that's where the podium is. I'll go and join them very soon indeed, but that's been an immaculate performance by Merrill. Well done to him. In the end, Matos finished 11th. McAvern in the top 10. Jade Buford getting a top 10 finish for Scott Borchetta. Well done to him. Dylan McAvern just ahead. And a shout out also to Sean Ingarani in 15th position. Good point scored by another youngster coming up from ARCA for Scott Lagacy. Good result for him. Boris Said Jr. in the end finished 18th, ahead of Austin Green, who was right at the sharp end at one point in 19th position, and Jim Gallagher, who had problems, down in 20th. In a moment, we'll head down to Adam Andretti, who's made his way down to talk to Thomas. Thomas will be out of that car with a big California smile on his face, I can assure you. What an interesting race that was. It had everything, didn't it? So we'll take a short break and we'll be back to talk to our winner, Thomas Merrill, after this.
Lightweighting means reducing mass and consolidating parts. No one tackles these design and tooling challenges better than 3-Dimensional Services. We'll provide flexible tooling solutions, including integrating parts, reducing design complexity, or even design changes. We're the go-to source for rapid manufacturing and low-volume production. Trust 3-Dimensional Services to develop the most efficient approach to meet your lightweighting challenges today. 3-Dimensional Services. Prototype, production, proven.
Commercial break.
A force of nature? Man, that's good water. I feel like Chuck Norris. Seaforce water is a force of nature. What can it do for you?
Welcome back to Lime Rock, a beautiful sight here as we come to the end of our TA2 race, brought to you by Big Machine Spiked Coolers. And let's head down to Victory Lane and hear from our winner, Thomas Merrill.
Thomas Merrill, winner of the 2023 Memorial Day Classic here at Lime Rock Park. Are we having deja vu from 2022? Because this seems to be when your championship turned around for you last year.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we got a great baseline on this race car. Every year we start off trying to find a new baseline, and we found it at Road Atlanta. It didn't really end the way we wanted to there, but I mean, I just thanked him for this race car. He put together a heck of a race car, and it's never easy to run a flag-to-flag race like that, but that might be the easiest one that I've had just because of the great race car these guys put on the racetrack. This Bennett HP Tuners Mustang is just unbelievable. So full credit to those guys, and full credit to everyone racing behind me. That's a tough deal, and Mike Skeen P2 starting from in the back, that's impressive. So full credit to those guys. Big congratulations there, and yeah, I'm just so chuffed to be here, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a treat for us to watch. I mean, you really put on a clinic. We were saying it from the booth. Your restarts were absolutely clinical. Talk about that, because that's like the most vulnerable part about racing here at Lime Rock Park.
It is, yeah. Getting the restart timing is critical, and fortunately they give us a nice little restart zone there, so the leader can control that to a certain extent. So I just did the best I could to be unpredictable, because really all you can do as the leader, and I think it worked. So I felt good about it, and this thing was awesome on cold tires as well. We could just set sail and grow that gap, and man, I'm just so proud to be a part of this group. It's impressive. Thank you for all the support. Will Wood, HP Tuners, Bridge Hall, Bennett, everyone that helps us get here. It means the world to me.
Well, you're definitely supporting the right guy. This man here, Thomas Merrill, bringing it to him today, leading flag to flag, set an amazing pole lap yesterday, put him to school today. You got a lot to be proud of here, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Detroit coming up. Going to send it right back to Jonathan Green. We're going to see you, everyone, on the podium here shortly.
Yes, we will. What a great day for Thomas Merrill, and that really was impressive. Very impressive indeed by Thomas Merrill. And cool as a cucumber. He doesn't even look as though he's out of breath, does he? Very, very impressive. Well, it was a race that had everything. There's no question about it. And let's take a look at just some of the action in what was an amazing 100 miles. We started off with Thomas Merrill holding off Slater right from the get-go. Austin Green in the hunt, as were all the three-dimensional services group, as was Lostowski. Hearn in the thick of it, as always, in the 29, but then took a bit of grass tracking here into the dust and dirt. Did a great job keeping his foot in and keeping on track. Some others weren't as lucky, and Sheehan's car giving a little bit of a ride back from Jim Gallagher. But at the restart, once again, Merrill looking good, as was Lostowski. He made this move. Nicely done. Slater couldn't get past, and Anciata in third. Likewise, Rafa Matos in the thick of it. Got a little touch from both behind, and he in front. He went wide. Had to do a drive-by pass-through as well. And then Prochuk caused another. So that was it. Thomas Merrill, under caution, getting the victory. So in a moment, we'll head down towards the podium and enjoy the celebrations of that. So we'll take a short break here at Lime Rock, and when we come back, we'll have all the celebrations from the podium. Join us.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
You've got a business to run, big and heavy products to ship, and customers who need them now. When you've got the right driver and the right equipment, you can bet on a spectacular result. Bennett understands complex logistics and puts the best team, the most time, and the latest technology into every customer relationship. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Let us handle the rest.
Together, we can move anything.
Speed, endurance, desire. For 160 years, Motul has helped engines and drivers go faster, further, and stronger. Tested in the heat of battle, driven with passion, with one aim, to give you superior powertrain protection and performance. Motul.
Lightweighting means reducing mass and consolidating parts. No one tackles these design and tooling challenges better than 3-Dimensional Services. We'll provide flexible tooling solutions, including integrating parts, reducing design complexity, or even design changes. We're the go-to source for rapid manufacturing and low-volume production. Trust 3-Dimensional Services to develop the most efficient approach to meet your lightweighting challenges today. 3-Dimensional Services. Prototype, production, proven.
We're at a commercial break.
A force of nature? Man, that's good water. I feel like Chuck Norris. Seaforce water is a force of nature. What can it do for you?
One, two, 1, 2. Any luck? Welcome back to Lime Rock, to the Speed Tour, as we get ready for our podium celebrations from TA2, our first major race of the weekend. And of course, we've got TA coming up on Monday after the daybreak on Sunday for Memorial Weekend. And we start off with what was a brilliant, brilliant race in many ways for Thomas Merrill. But we're going to start in terms of prizes for our Pro-Am. And I want to turn to one of our Canadian friends, Pro-Am winner, the number 78, Aaron Pettypass. Is Aaron in the house? There he is. Well, you're first.
I'll need that back, too, I guess.
How was that? Because you had a tough day because you had to start from the back and then come through and...
Yeah, I missed the driver's meeting.
Whoops.
I need more practice. I've only been racing for like 35 years, so anyway, my bad. But yeah, no, I have a history of grinding out finishes from poor starts. I need to qualify better. I don't know, these guys, like we, P1, P2, we were top 15, and somehow these guys have a magic qualifying button or something. I need to get one of those. So.
Well, listen, great showing, great run. Let's hear it once again for Aaron Pitterpass. Thank you very much. Well done. Let's get some photographs of you. We'll get the hat and the photo first and foremost. You got it? All right, I got it. Let's hear it once again. Well done, sir. Congrats.
Thank you.
We'll turn now to our top 3 in TA2. And in third place, the youngster in the number 90, Nitro Motorsport car, Thomas Annunziata. And in second place, the number 87, Mike Skeen of the Three-Dimensional Services crew. Well done, Thomas. And your winner today in the 26th, let's hear it for the Cope Racing man from HB Tuners, Thomas Merrill. Let's start with Thomas. Wow. All through that, we were concentrating, obviously, on what was going on at the front with Thomas and Evan, but you were in just as hard a race, both holding off what was behind you, and it was all your hard-charging friends, but you're also concentrating on the front. How was that race?
It was pretty crazy. I thought we were good, and we were comfortably in third in the beginning, but we just weren't all good on the short runs. We were good in the long runs, but there was too many cautions, so we got attacked on all the restarts, and once everything started picking up at the end, it got a little hectic out there, but we just managed to take P3 at the end.
You're just starting out, and these fans may not know your name as well as they might know these two next to you, but you seem to be really settling in. You haven't had that win yet, but you've been so close.
Yeah, me and the guys have been working hard. We've been fast all year. I think Nola got away from us, but we needed some good momentum, and a podium here is going to help us for the rest of the year.
Where can they find you? Let's talk social. Where can they find you? Because there's some kids out there who want to follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram, Thomas Annunziata 15, no spaces. Facebook, Thomas Annunziata. That's all I have on social media, but that's where you guys can find me.
Look out for him. Thomas, that's the man in the number 90. Let's turn to Mike Skeen. And what? I mean, we're used to having you come through and charge through, but that was exceptional today. Tell us about your weekend, because many might not know where you started this race.
Yeah, absolutely. We struggle this weekend. I'm doing a part-time schedule in the TA2 series. I love being back here, love the racing, and we just struggle with the car. Only a couple practice sessions, and my first time in this particular car. And so we started in 6th and had kind of a lonely race back there in 6th for most of it until those last 2 restarts, and just got 2 great jumps. And like I said to some of the other guys, I can't believe any of it worked. We stuck it around the outside of 1 and 2 and made up a bunch of spots, and here we are.
We're on board with a lot of onboard shots throughout that race. It just looks so hard to try to overtake and not be overtaken or touched.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of bumping and grinding, and short track racing. Really tough to get around here, and that top 15 really are really tight, really close pace, and so to get around anybody is really tough. And the mix up with the yellows and restarts helps give you a little bit of an opportunity to make that happen. And so we brought the Peterson car home on the podium today.
When will we see you again?
Next week at Detroit.
Good. That's what. How do you like street circus? I would have thought you're in for that, aren't you?
Yeah, I love street racing. Been to Detroit at Belle Isle quite a few times, but obviously everybody's first time next week on this new layout, so looking forward to it. It should be fun.
Mike Skeen, let's hear it for him, and don't forget, tune in to Detroit, whether it's Matt TV or on the live stream. Mike Skeen will be up there at the sharp end. But let's turn to Thomas Merrill. And Thomas, I've seen you won some great races, but at one point during that race, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but Evan Slater was within 0.02 of you over several laps. I mean, you know that because he was breathing down your neck, but that was immense pressure.
It was. Fortunately, I got some experience with that. I had the same thing in 2019 when we won this thing flag to flag, so I felt pretty relaxed about it. But to be honest, the Cope crew gave me such a good race car. I mean, I had total confidence in my machine to get me to the end, and I knew that if I just put it in the right place
and kept it clean, we'd end up right here. So full credit to them for giving me the best race car.
You know, we were saying at the start of this race, these 3 races in such a short time, over 300 points worth to get, this could be the start of something special in your quest to try to get back-to-back titles.
Yeah, that's what we did last year. Last year, this race was huge for us, and it started our championship run and played a big role in what we were able to do in the end of the year. So I'm hoping to carry that good luck. I think it's all of you that come out and support this event every year. It really charges us up. It's really cool to see all you on the hillside when we race here. The support means the world to us, so thank you for coming out. It's pretty cool.
Well done. Let's hear it for our top 3. And Thomas Merrill, your winner. Now we turn next. Let's get some photographs and let's get the hats. Come on, hold those trophies up.
Really? You got no hat on. All right, special hat for this weekend, Lime Rock. Here's 3. 1 and 2.
Special hats for Lime Rock going on, and out to the crowd goes the winner's hat. Somebody grab that. Nicely done. Oh, look at that. Annunciata's got a throw on him. He should be playing baseball. One more time with the new hats. The Memorial Classic here from Lime Rock, representing. And then on to our Pirelli podium hats. Special hats to have. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, let's hear it one more time for our top 3. A great result, and it's that time to spray some sparkling liquid. Let's hear it. Come on, boys. Great stuff. Nobody missing out. Well, our thanks to the top 3. They put on a great show for you, and I'm sure our TA will do the same again. Mike, before you go, I want to give you what was the Olomagato fastest lap, and once again it goes to Mike Skeen, so you get this beautiful watch. I'm not jealous, but I am. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the Peterson guys for giving me such a great car.
Yeah, I was going to say he went to some club race in the south of France. He missed out this weekend.
Yeah, I think he's doing okay, but yeah, we'll tell the boss that we had a good time.
Well done to the 3-Dimensional Services team of Mike Skeen. And our next prize, well done, Mike, is the cool move of the race. And this weekend that goes to a man who I was watching coming through bit by bit, and he's going to win this lovely check, and it's a big one, for $500. And that goes to number 60, Robert Noacre III, who started 18th and finished 6th. Well done, mate. Well done indeed. Congratulations. We'll let you get some photos first. All right, Robert. Wow, that was a busy day.
Yeah, it was. We didn't qualify where we wanted to, and car wasn't quite where we wanted it either. And I had some stuff to work on myself. So going into the race, we knew what we needed to do and just try to drive up through the field. And the first half of the race was pretty calm, but after the first full course yellow, it just started to get very busy, and a lot of people moving around. Just had to take it where I could get it, try to find some openings, and we ended up either 5th or 6th.
How you enjoying Trans Am?
Oh yeah, it's a blast. A car with no driving assists. You can just throw it around. It's so much fun to drive.
Well, let's hear it once again for Robert Noacre. All right, well, that concludes our podium for TA2. I hope you've enjoyed the action that we brought you today. Don't forget, we'll be back in Action Foods right here. Some freebies to give you, but thanks for joining us. More action to come from the Speed Tour here at Lime Rock, but thanks for joining us.